Darren Mucci did some overnight free agent additions, a new wide receiver, a special teamer, plus Hop on Pop episode. We've got so much to get to. Boy Green Daily, the weekend edition, starts right now.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Woo-hoo! It gets me excited every time, baby. Welcome to Boy Green Daily. I am your humble host, Paul Esden Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast, people. And make sure you guys tune into the program. Again, let's bring in our special guest immediately. Like the video, hit subscribe. Hop on Pop is here to give us all the latest on a variety of signings, including one that I note here from Dave Briga we'll get to as well. Another sneaky signing happening there for the New York Jets yesterday. Let's bring him in. It's Hop on Pop Eston Zone time.
Hey now, good morning.
All right, Pop, I appreciate you powering through. You sound sick as a dog, but we appreciate you, plowing through.
Get ready to make
just a little cough. That's it. Little cough. That's it.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, there's a lot to get into. A bunch of free agent additions over, and I'll throw this one out here just so I don't forget it. Dave Briga mentioned it. The Jets have a new punter as well, which just had me immediately going, wait, no, wait, this can't mean. And no follow-up move has happened. But I think a few Jet fans were a little nervous when they saw the Jets sign a punter. Like, could this possibly mean that they, they might be potentially thinking about moving on? That is Austin McNamara, who they signed at punter. I guess we could start there, just like I said, so I don't forget it. He spent 5 seasons at Texas Tech, holds a bunch of records. He's 6'2", 210. His 45.91 yards a punt with the highest mark in school history and Big 12 conference history. And so he's done pretty well. He's an undrafted free agent last year. He signed with the Bengals, was waived during the summer. So he's kind of a training camp body, and then that was it. And then the Jets just added him to the rotation. Now I think that sent a lot of fear into Jet fans, like, oh boy, is that bad news for Thomas Morstead, our guy that we all love. But at this current moment in time, Thomas Morstead remains a member of the team. So I don't know if it's a training camp thing. You got 90 men on the roster or what have you. But yeah, so a little concerning there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is nothing more. I don't believe the Jets had another punter on the roster. In the world of training camp, you got to bring a guy in that's going to be able to, push the talent. Obviously he wasn't good enough to make the Bengals team, so that would make it less concerning. Although he did have a pretty prolific college career, as if there is a prolific punter college career, but there is one prolific college punter that hails. Let me see how good your memory is. He played for the New York Giants.
Yes, the Denver Broncos.
He's in the Denver Broncos.
It's Riley Dixon. It's Riley Dixon for Heisman, baby. And let me tell you this, which was sort of a potential nugget here, is that, so this is why, again, some Jet fans got concerned. Zach Roseblatt of The Athletic was telling us a couple weeks ago, like, hey, here's some guys to watch that could be cap casualties. And all the normal names, right? Devontae, Allen Lazard, Aaron Rodgers. He said, keep an eye out for Thomas Morstead. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, God. And then the next sentence was, the Jets like Riley Dixon. I'm like, oh, God. This is plucking the heartstrings of a Syracuse guy. I love Riley Dixon, but I also love Thomas Morstead. So it's a little conflicted. And then the Broncos were able to retain Riley Dixon. So I said, whoo, bullet dodged. Okay, that means we're sticking with Morstead. Now they've made another signing here. So we'll see. That's a good point that, again, this guy didn't even make the Bengals last year. So to leapfrog Thomas Morstead, who's been a terrific punter throughout his career. He's made more money a punter than any punter in NFL history. There's a little nugget, a Thomas Morstead punter nugget. So prolific career, there's no question about it. And speaking of prolific, it's prolific when we get a bunch of new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Pop, look at this. June the GM, he is back. He has hit the re-sign button. That is a raffle ticket for our contest. June the GM, you now have 5 raffle tickets so far this month. And what June just did is bought his own. You guys can always do that in the YouTube description down below. If you ever want to join the Boy Green Coffee Club, it simply says, join the Boy Green Coffee Club here. You click it. It's only $2.99 a month. Someone else did it. Arsenal Jets, baby, said, I'll punch my own ticket. Boom shakalaka, just like that. So you get all the access. So Arsenal Jets, June the GM already knows all this jazz, but Arsenal Jets, have a raffle ticket to our contest, which is awesome. You're now a Boy Green Coffee Club member, which gives you all kinds of wonderful perks. Access to early membership videos, access to our Discord channel, access to all of our emojis that are custom created by Jets Worldwide. So Arsenal Jets, thank you for supporting the show. That means a lot. And of course, as you can see, you get your own special loyalty badge that separates you from the pack and makes you a part of the great family. So Arsenal Jets, June the GM, welcome to the show.
All right. Where's the ticker?
Okay, yes, let's get the scrolling ticker up. Let's throw that up on the big board. Shout out to Aced Up Jets. Aced Up 10, has 103 memberships so far this month, 103 raffle tickets, Number 1 Austrian Jet fan in second place at 66, for Lillian Big D with 31, Jimmy Jets with 25 in fourth place, and then Devin, a.k.a. DNY for life, with 17, rounding out the top 5, baby. And oh my goodness gracious, have mercy, Jimmy Jets just dropped a 50 50. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Hello.
Interesting. We'll see if I still have this. I'll see if I can find it quickly, because there's an immediate thought. So we got to do a lot of reading here, Pop. Maybe we could split up the action here. But there is. I won't be able to pull it up fast enough, but and have it all cut up. But when I see 50, and I have the video saved somewhere on my phone, it brings me back to Rush Hour when Chris Tucker goes $50 million. I know it's not $50 million, but 50 Boy Green Coffee Club memberships. I mean, Jimmy Jets. Good Lord. All right, Pop. Like I said, do you want to split up the reading here? Do you want me to bang these out? What do you want?
Let me, holy cow.
Yeah,
all right.
That's 50. That's they're all coming in there. Yeah.
All right, I'll get started now, and I'll tag you in.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first one is Joe Mama Ops.
Okay.
To Real. Rock Benz 205. Lucas S. Pastor Carlos Reyes. Andrew Kemp.
Right.
Luppy OU 812, Reese Quinnen, Oscar the Grouch, Carl Dubar, Jose Stefansi, Julio Kelly, Carlos Piscoya, Nikki Boo Boo, Tiff, Wesley Thompson, Gary Newby, William Sprague, Commander Carney, Kyle Smith,
okay,
and FPP, which is a first cousin of OPP. And if you know, you know. Amir Lambden, Big Steve, Ty Rapp, Recipes with Reed, Mark Baylor, Sean Wilson, Mr. McGee, not any relation to Tits McGee.
Okay.
No, I lost my place now. I just keep the Jason Ratliff, Gerald Juarez, Aiken, Nelson Gragelis, I don't know, Brandon Barnes, M30, Primal Gentleman, Droop Cabra 7,
Chupacabra, I believe that's how that's pronounced.
Chupacabra, yep.
Yeah.
Terrace Lewis, My Young Ring, and I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, the Badger Trio, yeah, baby. Frankie Agostini, Peter S, Vocal Vike, Chris 75, Jimbo, Matt from L5, appreciate you, Matt. King Blaze, TX, Soldiers of God, Wim, Dan Hops, and that is our 50 members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Pop carrying most of the load there. I appreciate that. And we've already updated the banner. Jimmy Jets has surged into second place, baby. Leapfrogging our number 1 Austrian Jet fan, but behind Aced Up 10, Jimmy Bleepin' Jets. Good night, baby. That's what I'm talking about, Jimmy. Way to start this show off with a proper bang, baby.
That's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
Damn straight, AG. There we go. Oh, wow. Pop, that's a nice little pop, huh?
That'll wake you up in the morning.
That's for sure. So, Jimmy Jets, salute to you, my good sir. And obviously, that is 50 raffle tickets to our contest. Again, you are now in sole possession of second place. You have 75 raffle tickets on the month, just behind, a bit behind, I suppose, behind A Step 10 and then Austrian Jet Fan. That rounds out our top three. A Step 10, Jimmy Jets, and number one Austrian Jet Fan. You love to see it, baby. All right, Pop, let's get into some of these signings that apparently happened overnight on top of the punter. Thank you, Dave Brigger, for that one. I didn't want to forget that one. So let's go through. First off, we'll start off with the wide receiver because I think Jet fans have been drooling for a wide receiver. And the Jets have finally gotten their wide receiver, and that wide receiver is Tyler Johnson. He is a 26-year-old wide receiver, 6'1", 208 pounds. He's a Super Bowl champion in his rookie season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They won the Super Bowl immediately. He's bounced around the league. He spent his first 2 years with the Bucs, then went to the Texans, then back to the Bucs, then to the Las Vegas Raiders. Most recently, he was on the Rams since 2023. He's had okay production, 76 catches, 828 yards, 4 touchdowns, 10.9 per clip during his career. Coming out of college, interestingly enough, this is a Minnesota product. He was compared to A.J. Brown for his physical presence, which is terrific. I mean, A.J. Brown has been a wonderful receiver in the league. So Justin Fields has a new weapon. And again, it's the same waters that Darren Muji and Aaron Glenn have been swimming in this entire time. Not a Stephon Diggs, not an Amari Cooper, a lesser name that's somewhere in their mid-20s that either has a trait or some quality that sort of stands out, and they're taking a risk. They're taking a gamble on what they could potentially bring to the table. So, again, Tyler Johnson, you are a New York Jet, and that's the first wide receiver addition for the New York Jets this offseason, Pop.
Yeah. You know what his middle name is?
Who, Tyler Johnson? I do not.
Yes. It's Touch My. But anyways.
Oh, Pop.
Hello. Dad jokes. Yeah, so this is an interesting signing, but everybody that's up in arms, I can understand that. Realize that the wide receiver cupboard was empty, right? So I don't think the Jets. I think the Jets signed him as a potential number 3 wide receiver. I don't think he was signed as a number 2. Historically speaking, he's got some upside, right? In college, he led the Golden Gophers. Has the record for receiving yards in a year, averaging 15 yards a reception. Pretty impressive. He hasn't necessarily translated the NFL where he's averaged 10 yards a reception, but 15 yards a reception is pretty impressive. And you put that together, again, he's got decent speed. He's a compliment. He's not going to threaten Garrett Wilson, but he could be that dime in the rough. He just came out of the Rams, a very crowded wide receiver room. They spread the ball around. He got 26, 30 receptions, whatever it was last year, and I think it's interesting. I'll tell you the most interesting thing that we haven't mentioned about Tyler Johnson.
Sure.
He was an established high school quarterback, so there could be a little slash piece to him. He threw for, I believe, 36 touchdowns his senior year in high school, and then he transitioned to wide receiver his freshman year, which is why his college stats don't jump out at you, because again, he was learning a new position. So this could be definitely somebody that you see out in the package, and when he does the end around, you got to worry that they're going to lateral him the ball and he's going to, it's a little slash thing. So, and I think that Malachi Corley brings the same kind of thing, but I think that's interesting component to him. And we need wide receivers. He's not Cooper Kupp, unfortunately, I think, who got Lazard money. He's not Stephon Diggs or Amari Cooper. By the way, I think at least 2 of those 3 are still out there.
They are. Yes, that's why I brought him up.
And that's and none of those are going to threaten Garrett Wilson either. So I think this guy comes in competing for the number 3 spot. So nobody should get, they're not putting all the eggs in this basket, but it's an interesting acquisition to be sure. And you already covered the other stuff, the high point catch, the down the field, the contested catch. That's what we need in a number 3 wide receiver.
Yes, yeah. Coming out of college, he was labeled a contested catch warrior. We also have a shorter form video on it with some more stats and nuggets. You guys could check that out in the YouTube video section. We bang one out on Tyler Johnson and this other guy we'll talk about in a second from overnight that the Jets did right before we went live here. But let's catch up. We got a couple of memberships to get to here on the show, baby, which we appreciate. Number 1 Austrian Jet fan says, here's a 5-pack, baby. Oh, yeah. All right, we'll read all these members here in just a moment. Jimmy Jets gifting another Boy Green Coffee Club membership. You absolutely love to see it, baby. And then I see that our number one Austrian Jet fan just gifted another membership on top of that. So this is terrific. It's just raining from the high heavens. All right, here are all the new members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. We have Brandon Sanzone, Captain Techno. We have Monkey Manstand. We have Mag King. We have Luis Cordova. You guys are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Jimmy Jet's one membership went to Steve V, and then Austrian Jet fans' other one membership that he sent again went to Florida Jet Fan Baby, and that updates our banner of action happening here on the program. So that is let's see, 72 for number one Austrian Jet fan, 103 for A-Step 10, and 76 for our guy Jimmy Jets, all coming up in here on the program, which we appreciate.
Absolutely, absolutely. By the way,
Yes.
take that like button to Pound Town and share.
Yes,
Build
please
this,
do.
the Boy Green Coffee Club army up. Let's go.
Absolutely. So yes, please, don't be hesitant on the share button. Feel free to use that, please and thank you. Appreciate it. And let me just update again. Austrian Jet fan up to 72 memberships so far this month. So got that update going on in there. So yeah, Tyler Johnson, intriguing guy. We could get back to him at some point. But former Super Bowl wide receiver, was teammates with Mike Evans, has had some okay years that are kind of intriguing. Again, young guy, sort of unproven to what the Jets are doing. And people asking for contract details. Those are not out yet, but I would imagine they're relatively nothing to speak about. So wild track weekender contract details. I would imagine for guys like this, these are nothing contracts.
It's probably a prove me deal.
I would say. Now, Pop, the Jets added a key special teamers. I heard from a Texans person that told me about Chris Boyd. But really, it's less about the special teams action. It's more about what happened in the playoffs last year. So let's throw this one up on the board. The Jets overnight also added cornerback and special teamer Chris Boyd. Now, if that name pops, you're like, Chris Boyd, that sounds sort of familiar. Well, he went viral over the playoffs this past year for this moment, a minute into the Texans-Chiefs game, and especially a minute into the game. What could have possibly happened that incensed this sort of reaction is sort of beyond me. But maybe Aaron Glenn just loves passion, Pop, passion.
By the way, that reaction was very similar to LeBron James against the Celtics. But the little, I don't know. This is what I would say is the only time I will say that the Muji Glenn army made a mistake. Okay. Right? That is unexcusable. That is character. That is in the beginning of the game. Not that I would excuse it at the end of the game, but at the beginning, like there was zero reason and ever to do that. Yes. And it's different when you're on the field and the offensive lineman, defensive lineman essentially are trying to beat the shit out of each other for 10 seconds or whatever it is, that burst of energy, and then they push afterwards. This is your coach. This is your boss. And you come off the field and essentially, in a different scenario, that's what we like to call assault. Right. Yes. And then he continues to run his mouth. Right. So, this is a character problem with this gentleman. And I'm a little surprised that the Jets, with the culture they're trying to build, signed him. So I think it's a questionable at best.
Yeah. So again, Dave's like, wait, they signed this guy? Yes. That guy's name is Chris Boyd. He's 28 years old. He's a little, again, they're all still picking these guys in the mid-20s. He's a little on the older side. He's been around the league. He was drafted as a 7th-round pick in 2019. He spent his entire rookie contract with the Minnesota Vikings 2019 through 2022. He spent part of the season in 2023 with the Cardinals and then had been with the Houston Texans most recently. So he's been in the league for a long time. And when you look at the statistics, he has appeared in 81 games, has made 6 starts. He got a chance in 2020 the Vikings roundhouse kicked him, said, all right, let's see what you can do at corner. And that was his only real corner season that they tested him out at. Everything else, he's just been a key special teams contributor. So that season in 2020, he appeared in 10 games, made 5 starts, and got a lot of opportunities from that perspective. Again, when we're talking about snap percentage, he played 51% of the snaps that season. Besides that outlier of a year, he's been entirely a special teamer. Here are his other offensive snaps in those other years: 9%, 15%, 3%, 4%. So he's been a long-term special teamer. And here are the special team snap percentages over those years: 72%, 43%, 55%, 82%. This past season, 77%. And again, Texans people have described him as quote-unquote a key special teamer. And Pop, this is sort of sneaky. We don't talk about this a lot, but both of the Jets gunners are compromised. Brandon Eccles went to Pittsburgh, so you're losing that from a special teams perspective. And then Irv Charles, who a lot of people like, the wide receiver, he had a very serious injury at the end of the season. The Jets have brought him back, but how healthy will he be? That's totally up for grabs. So that's sort of where Chris Boyd fits on the football perspective. But again, to your point of all the additional extra stuff that comes here with Chris Boyd, perhaps that'll rub some the wrong way, I imagine.
Right. There's going to be some tremendous upside that we're just not seeing, because otherwise the risk reward there, if he's the top cornerback, with 50 starts, maybe we'll look the other way, like Emmitt Smith falling asleep in a meeting. But this guy's got nothing, right?
Yeah.
Only reason anybody ever knew his name was he pushed his coach after the first or second play of the game.
Yeah, that could be it. Hey, we got a YouTube super chat coming in. Man with Rake, he has something to say, which we appreciate. Every time we get a super chat, we hear from my daughter Zariah Luna.
I'm gonna lose.
Not that one.
Wow.
Sorry, got a little trigger happy there. What is the status of Brandon Smith? Nice wide receiver in our practice squad last season. He is under contract for the New York Jets. He's on their 90-man roster right now. Here are the other receivers that are there. We have Malachi Corley, Xavier Gibson, Alan Lazard still under contract. You have Brandon Smith, who I just mentioned, Garrett Wilson, and Aesop Winston. Aesop.
He's got some fables kicking around.
Yeah, there you go. Irv Charles is a restricted free agent, so they've tendered him. He's there. And then they have a wide receiver as a free agent. That is Malik Taylor. He is a unrestricted free agent, so we'll see if he comes back. I would imagine not. But yeah, Brandon Smith, interesting guy, 6'2", 220 pounds, Iowa product. Showed a lot of pop in the preseason before, so he's in the rotation. He has an opportunity, and if I'm Brandon Smith, I want the Jets to keep doing what they're doing. Don't bring in Stephon Diggs. Don't bring in Amari Cooper. Don't take a receiver with the 7th overall pick. If I'm Brandon Smith, phenomenal. That gives me a clear path to try to disrupt. When you draft a guy with the top pick, when you spend a lot of money in free agency, to be frank, it's nearly impossible to leapfrog those guys in the lineup. So if you're Brandon Smith and you like Brandon Smith, so great for the shout out here, Man with Rake FL. But that's all for Brandon Smith to try to see if he can make some hay if the Jets are really going to go with this kind of bargain bin approach at a lot of these positions, including wide receivers. So 87, one of my favorites, Lavernius Coles. We had Eric Decker, which my fiance is in love with Eric Decker for some reason. So a lot of good 87s in Jets history that you could give a tip of the cap to. Anything else you have to say here on Brandon Smith, Pop?
No, nothing on Brandon Smith, but looks like Amari Cooper maybe shockingly signing a large contract with the Raiders for $38 million. It's not
did that
final.
Just come in?
It's not final.
Okay, give us the juice. Where's this
looks
from?
Like he's this is from
Oh boy, let me get some of this action here.
M Sports. I don't know.
Okay, let me see. I'm just doing a quick Amari
Cooper set to reunite with the Raiders in potential $37.8 million deal amid NFL free agency.
Okay, right now I see nothing on Amari Cooper, so we'll see if something else changes on my Twitter stream. I love breaking news when we could do that on the show, so I'm doing a quick scroll. I don't see anything on the Amari Cooper yet, so hang on tight, folks. Hang on tight. I'm just seeing around. Okay, if any of you guys, by the way, I love when this happens. If any of you guys see breaking news during the show, and you want to super chat it in because that's how a message sort of pops up on my screen, feel free. If it's Jets related or something crazy in the NFL, you could do that for any amount on super chat. Let me know. But I don't see anything of whatever my pop is saying here. So Not to say it's wrong. I just am not seeing it all on my Twitter account. I just did a Twitter search and Amari Cooper, nothing's coming up. So we'll see. Could be a false alarm there, but it would be a cool story for Amari.
Motorcycle sports.
I've never heard of
But,
that. So
all right.
I'm not sure
listen.
the legitimacy on that motorcycle sports.
Okay. Laugh it up, Chuckles.
But,
I
hey,
could have
I'm just saying.
I could have just dropped some dimes there, so you're welcome.
We're a team. We're a team.
right.
We're vetting each other out.
Yeah, I didn't see who it
Motorcycle.
was before I pulled up. I was trying to find out how much he got paid by the Bills last year for
I see.
his dalliance in the
Yes.
Bills. But yes, he is not a $37.8 million man by any means.
And that would surprise me first off, it'd be cool for him personally to go back to the Raiders where he started his career. Put that aside. Number two, for him to get this kind of splash this deep into free agency would be sort of surprising, unless it's a unique scenario that we've seen before in free agency past where, like Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure he's going to get solid money. I don't know if it's going to be crazy money from whatever team because there's a lot of desperate teams out there. But I imagine it's a needle mover of like, oh, that's on a veteran minimum deal. Like that will kind of catch your attention from that perspective. So we'll see. Amari is interesting though.
He is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let me just talk about the NFL and contracts and salary cap for a minute.
Okay.
All right. They need to clean house. They need to simplify the process. They need to, similar to our tax system, needs to be simplified. You don't need a 28-page volume and several 100,000 employees in the IRS. You need a very simple process, and so does the NFL. I'll give you an example. When you sign a contract, shy of getting hurt, it should be a contract. Right now, they're just fiction on paper. Right? We're going to sign you to a 30-year, $2 billion contract, of which 1 year and $10 is guaranteed. What? And so you talk about our punter, for example. You sign a contract, whether it's Dak Prescott or any of these others that immediately restructure it's just stupid, right? And the Jets were eating, the $80 million dead cat. I mean, the whole process is dumb. And I'll give you the latest example that did just come across the wire.
Okay.
Is, and I'm going to say his name wrong, the fullback from the 49ers who was under contract.
Yeah, Kyle Juszczyk.
He is now re-signed with the 49ers.
I see that. Yeah.
Just now. But that poor bastard had a contract to the 49ers, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't a free agent. And so he put his name down on a piece of paper. And I'm not a big pro or I'm just it seems like the NFL Players Association should step up, right? You sign a contract. They shouldn't just cut you because now it's no longer advantageous for them. A contract is a contract is a contract, right? Now, I don't remember what he was making before, but even though he signed a contract in good faith, even though he's back with the same team, he's eating a shit sandwich and not getting paid for the deal that was signed. So that just the whole thing, we need a clean house and just unfuck it. Because there's an example, that guy just got bent over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say this on Juice. That sort of sucks. So he's a guy that's a long-time 49er. And they used that against him like 2 or 3 years ago. They said, hey, we're going to cut you. Unless, of course, you care about the team and you want to take a pay cut. Like, they sort of set that up from what I heard. And I'm like, oh, that's fucked. So he takes a pay cut. So they've, like, sort of dicked around with him, long story short, the last 3 or 4 years, plucking his heartstring. He just visited Pittsburgh, apparently. I didn't know that, on a free agent visit. So maybe that's the 49ers like, whoa. We don't want to lose this guy. But interesting. Yeah. So Juice just signed minutes ago. So he goes back to the 49ers. But, yeah, he got dicked around. Poor guy. Which sucks. Again, he's making millions of dollars, so I guess you don't have to cry him too many rivers there. But Kyle Juszczyk now off the board, which is another guy there as well. And we'll see on Amari. Like I said, I love him as a route runner. He doesn't seem as much. I mean, you could speak to it from all his Dallas Cowboys days. He doesn't seem like the kind of diva like Stephon Diggs. There's diva qualities now. Sometimes you risk it to get the other, right? Stephon Diggs is an awesome receiver, so you risk some danger but he could score a lot of touchdowns. So you have to kind of work that out. Amari, to me, has never been, and correct me if I'm wrong, because he has never been on my team, but he never has come across as this diva type.
He's a quiet leader in the locker room.
Okay.
Doesn't make any noise. He's the kind of player you want on the team. And if he came in the Jets as a number 2, I think that'd be an uptick for the Jets. He's not a number 1 anymore. and neither is Stephon Diggs for that matter. And then frankly, the Jets don't need a number one. They don't need anyone that's in the stratosphere of a number one, right? Because good wide receivers are prima donnas, and they don't want their turf infringed upon, as we saw last year with Mr. Wilson.
Well, someone who could infringe on some of that turf, number one Austrian Jet fan sending in a YouTube super chat here.
Wow.
By the way, Austrian, with your previous super chat contributions, that's another raffle ticket for you, my good sir.
Boom, baby.
There you go. So again, for people that don't understand, you guys can have all your raffle tickets are all good for the rest of the month of March. We'll be announcing our next contest winner on April 1st, on April Fool's Day. So that'll be coming up. But you guys could super chat like $2 today and then $1 another day. Bing, boom, bam. You got another raffle ticket because they're all $2.99 a pop. Number one Austrian Jeff Man is up to 73 raffle tickets. But his question is this, pop that over to you. Do they, the Jets, still get a veteran wide receiver? They keep Lazard. It's interesting. They have not cut Allen Lazard yet, obviously. So he's still on the roster. What happens there?
Yeah, so I'm a little Lazard is what's concerning.
Oh, so
he's concerning.
You have some Lazardi concerns here?
I do. And because, he shy of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Right. 2023, he disappeared.
He did.
Right. He got ghosted. He ghosted the Jets. And the whatever resurgence he had previously, whatever resurgence he had in 2024 was attributed to Aaron Rodgers, right? And then he missed, 4 or 5, whatever the game was, he missed in the middle.
Yep.
So not knowing how Justin Fields' chemistry, I would not risk the biscuit if it's going to cost us more dead money. I'd have to balance that all out. But if it costs nothing to invite him to leave the facility with a box in his arm and 2 security guards, if that costs no money, I'd be happy to escort him out of the building.
Yeah, let me see. I have it up here. I know that the Jets get $6 million and change if they cut him in free agency, but there certainly is a dead cap hit. I'll have that up here in just a second. Here we are. So let's see, 2025, his dead cap hit would be, almost as much as you're creating here. So you would eat a $6.5 million dead cap hit if you cut him. You would get $6 million. So it's kind of a give and take there. But
and then it's the breakdown. Who are you getting? What's the upside? Who's in the room? What does it look like? I would have preferred the Jets, dip their toe in the Cooper Cup waters.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other two we just talked about, Amari or Stephon Diggs. But maybe you can get something for Lazard. They did offer him the opportunity to shop himself around. However, apparently no one's interested.
Hey, let me ask you this. Okay, so this is sort of conspiracy. I don't know if I've heard this anywhere. Like, you keep your, aluminum foil around the head. What if the Jets do this? Aaron Rodgers is on The Bachelor as he's trying to pick his next destination. Wherever he ends up, you call the team up and say, hey, Lazard, a +1 deal, and try to see if you can get a pick for him.
Yeah, that may make a lot of sense.
All
right? You trade him, and then, because I'll tell you that some of the wide receivers that have gotten deals are not superstars. Little Saturday Night Live, right? Superstar.
I saw that. That's very nice. Yeah.
I was going to sniff my armpits, put my fingers in my armpits and smell them, but I decided against that.
I appreciate that. We do have a membership, and let me get to that right now, just so I don't forget it. MFC Mother Effing Chew Baby here with a gifted membership.
Boom.
Hey now. 8 raffle tickets so far this month for our guy MFC. Beautiful, and that membership went to, I have it right here, Johnny P. You just got a membership thanks to our guy MFC.
There's a new Johnny in town.
There is. Very nice. And let me throw this up, Pat, because it just came across as I'm trying to keep an eye on Twitter just in case anything breaks. And I didn't realize this news. The greatest musician in history's birthday is today. Bret Michaels, baby.
Boom.
Poison. You can leave your birthday wishes for him apparently on his official Twitter page at Bret Michaels. There you go. Boom shakalaka, March 15th. Hashtag Bret Michaels birthday.
Hashtag how old is he?
Oh, boy. If I had to guess, let me see, because it's not on any of his stuff there. Oh, I'm afraid of my answer. Like 56, maybe.
56.
Yeah.
He
What
is
is he?
62. 62.
Oof. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I shot under. You're a legend, Brett Michaels of Poison
But
and everything else. Yeah.
here's how he's a legend.
Okay.
He's a legend. So,
Yeah.
Flavor Flav,
I
goofed
know where you're
around,
going. Yeah.
goofed around with
Flavor of Love
reality
or
show.
whatever.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
Flavor
Right.
of Love. Forget that. Brett Michaels, some classic reality Hall of Fame cinematic. They brought in 20-ish chicks, and
Yeah.
we watched Brett Michaels for like 3 months, bang through them all. And
Yeah.
then
Rock of Love. Yeah.
Rock of Love. And then he had, I think there was 3 different versions of it.
3
And
seasons. Yeah.
3 seasons. So that's worth the Google. That's worth the watch. Brett Michaels literally getting paid to live in some resort with 20 chicks that want to, well, I won't say.
Well, God bless. Hey, Brett Michaels, legend. There you go.
Actually, there was an Aerosmith album called Hong Kong Bobo. I didn't know if you ever knew that, but
I did. So I appreciate that. And so, yeah, they just came across the docket. So I just wanted to throw that out there in the universe that Brett Michaels, pour one out for your local Brett Michaels. So I just want to make sure. Oh, yes, that's the other thing we didn't mention. Over the night, Mekhi Becton signed a 2-year deal with the LA Chargers. I have not seen money on that yet, but he's expected to continue his career as a guard. And well, it'll be interesting because obviously I would say his best quality is a road grader, and the Chargers love running the football. So they will be going down Route 77, a.k.a. Mekhi Becton. He's over there with the Chargers Harbaugh, and he can reunite with the former Jets wide receiver Mike Williams, who recanted his was talking about his Jets journey last year, and he said it was terrible, and started laughing about it at his media availability yesterday about how terrible his time was with the Jets, Steelers, and quite frankly everything else that included. So
did he sign somewhere?
He did, yeah. Apparently, he just signed. Jimmy Jet's asking, did Mike Williams sign back with the Chargers? He did. I guess. Okay, I wasn't going to do it, but yeah, here it is. We'll play the clip for you guys of Mike Williams. I started looking around. I'm like, all right. So we're still waiting because none of the Jets' new players have done any media availability yet of like, hey, us learning about any of them. So I said, hey, have all the new Jet or old Jets that have ended up in new places, have they done media availability? Like Hassan Reddick. He did his media availability yesterday for the Bucs, and someone asked him about his, his trip with the Jets last year, and he called it very bizarre and weird. Again, I wonder who made it that way, but okay, Hassan Reddick. And then, the clip of Mike Williams talking about his opportunities with the Jets. I'll throw this up on the big screen. He was asked about last year with the Jets and his last year in general. And here's the clip. It's a minute long. Here's Mike Williams talking about his past season with the New York Jets, Pittsburgh Steelers, and 2024 as a whole.
Back to have fun. And do you feel like you have something to prove this year, being back here?
Well, yeah, I feel like because last year was terrible for me. For sure, I'm just being honest. It was terrible. Probably the worst year I had in the league by far. So yeah, I'm just putting in the past. That was the past, trying to make it feel like it didn't happen for me. But yeah,
there he is, Mike Williams, talking about his terrible year and wish it didn't even happen. There you go.
Well, there you go. We've talked about that ad nauseum. That was, I think, that was a miss for the Jets. If we were, he would never have come back. But if there was an opportunity, he was a wide receiver out there that could have brought something back to the team. We can't go past the fact that the Tampa Bay, I espoused this person's talents, even making a bold claim that he was going to be running for Defensive Player of the Year. And I didn't know that he was going to eat a whole bunch of Twinkies and then be a bitch and not show up to the contract that he signed. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I did know that he got paid like $8-10 million a sack, or no, more than that. Anyways, Tampa Bay signing Hassan Reddick to $14 million for 2025.
$12 million guaranteed.
That is insane. Like, after the body of work, after what you saw, forget the dude pushing somebody on the sideline. Hassan Reddick brought both by his absence and presence, right, brought just garbage to the New York Jets, right? Cost a bunch of money without bringing anything to the table. And the only person in the world that was heralding him was the moron interim head coach that we had.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that guy, you see him out there? Yeah, we see him. I'm not sure you see him. You might need some glasses there, Grandpa.
It's crazy though that like so we all know that things happen before the legal tampering period. Conversations happen. But at 12:01, when legal tampering period opened on Monday at noon, Hassan Reddick immediately signed. So like he was apparently a hot ticket item for people. And I'm just, man, I am stunned. I thought he was going to be in the league this year because he's just too talented. Teams don't ignore talent. But for him to be a first signing with his optimal choice for optimal money. Now, I get it. He probably effed himself for ever getting a long-term deal, probably with age. He'll probably never get it. Maybe if he has a crazy year this year, he'll find that 2 or 3 year deal for Buco bucks, but I still don't think so because of how age is going to set up. He's 30 now, will be 31. Like how it's all going to set up, I don't think so. But that he got $12 million fully guaranteed immediately is just stunning. But hey, pass rush, it's an important position in the National Football League. I guess that's what explains it.
It's crazy. Although, to his credit, he did say that he was a dumbass last year. That's my interpretation.
Oh, did he?
Of what he said.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah. My interpretation of what he said, he talked about how last year rolled out. I don't remember where I read it. It wasn't motorcyclesports.com, but I did hear it that he kind of said, if I ran that one back again, I might do that a little differently.
Oh, I guess I should have listened to the full press conference. I heard that first initial one where he just called everything bizarre and weird. I'm like, okay, that's enough. But apparently he was asked about it again. Okay, I got to go back and hear that, see if it's anything worth listening to. But I mean, any sane person should have that response after how everything turned out. I mean, because if he would have played his cards right and just balled out for the Jets and fulfilled your prophecy, he would have been the same thing signing immediately in legal tampering period, but for $50 to $100 million, something crazy. But now, like I said, that reality may not exist. Pop, this is your first time joining us in a week, so obviously a lot of moves have happened. We've done a lot of coverage, obviously, with the live videos and just a short form video coverage. Is there a signing that stands out that you wanted to highlight before we get to phone calls or anything of that nature?
Yeah, just at a high level. I am a big fan of excuse me. I am a big fan of the Field signing. I think that was the right thing to do. Now the Jets have the liberty at number 7. I expect that they'll trade back.
You said they have the liberty at what?
I said now that they signed Justin Fields, they now have the flexibility that they don't have to go for a quarterback and they can trade back. Why? Which part of that?
Where do they have flexibility? Did you say?
What?
You said that they now have the flexibility with a pick. What pick do they have flexibility with?
The first round pick at number 7. I don't know what you're
number
getting
7, baby. Justin Fields is now wearing number 7 for the New York Jets, baby. Shout out to Richie of Jets Media. That got announced yesterday. Apparently, a lot of the people that work at the Jets, they put out a little video about it, where Jets people that work inside the building tried to guess what Justin Fields' jersey number would be. So, they put a bunch of numbers on the board and they'd write their name by them. And Justin Fields, he said the two choices that people guess the most were number 4 and number 7. And I'm going number 7. We've had a lot of Jet quarterback greats that have worn a number 7 in yesteryear, baby. So I agree with you. Justin Fields, baby. QB1, number 7 on your program.
I see. Anyways, by the way, for everyone out there, that's creepy. Justin Fields has never put on a number 7 jersey before, and they can make it look like that. The AI nowadays, if you haven't watched Terminator, War Games, or anything like that, it's terrifying. Anyways, some of the other hits, I thought it was great. It did seem to me that I'm not an expert, I'm not an analyst, I'm not a money guy, but I think we paid a lot more than I thought we would for both Fields and Sherwood. I'm happy that the Jets signed them both. It just seems we might have paid maybe more than we had to, but I'm happy with the signings. And then I'm really happy with filling the safety room with a little Crisco Cisco, right? Very, very happy with that. That was a great signing. So, I mean, really, shy of one of the Michigan interior linemen being available at 7. The Jets trade back, get more picks. You know, they've still got to fill, if they don't do it before the draft, the wide receiver. They still need some more help from the backfield. And they need the fatties in the middle. You know, I love Jamian Sherwood, but he is a sideline to sideline guy. He is a little light in the loafers, if you will. So he needs somebody up front to take the brunt of the offensive lineman to free him up to move and make those tackles. So need some meat in the middle.
I agree.
Is, like a hot dog.
That is how I understand it as well. Some Brutus beefcake would be nice. Yeah, I'll throw up on the screen the tweet that I put out at some point in the last couple of days. Free agency is wild, but with the 7th overall pick, I think the New York Jets should pick one of these 3 guys that are on your screen. Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham, Penn State tight end Tyler Warren, or Missouri offensive tackle Armand Membu, who would be your right tackle, or tight end or defensive tackle. If the Jets walk away from the first round with any of these 3 guys, I'm feeling pretty gosh darn good about where we're going. And we could question, some people will, that guy won't be there, that guy won't be there. At least one of these guys, in my opinion, is going to be on the board at 7. And I think any of one of them would make great sense for the New York Jets.
Who's the other Michigan defensive tackle that's also
Kenneth
about that?
Grant.
Kenneth
Grant.
He's also about that ranking level for that, you know, whatever, first third, bottom of the first third of the first round. Beep, boop, beep. So that's potential. I you know, if we're making these signings like Tyler Touch My Johnson, then I definitely think we need to light up the Raiders. Hey, man, you got a diamond in the rough there. We want to take Mayer off your hands. Let's go. And there's an example. That's it. You don't need the special teamer who's slapping his coach around. There is an opportunity where you can get somebody. He's buried behind Brock Bowers, right?
Yeah.
He's going to come for pennies on the dollar. And he's only going to – he can catch – if you ever watch his tape, that guy blocks and he catches the ball like a mother, right? He was coming out of college in Notre Dame. He initially had first-round labels all over him. And I don't know what's – you know, hopefully is whatever his situation was this past year. But you obviously have to take that into account and evaluate that, and et cetera, et cetera. Maybe that's why they're not going after him. But he is definitely somebody that I would save the first round pick and not draft a tight end because of the other needs. But tight end is a need.
There's no question it is. Again, right, to the thing that you were alluding to, he had some personal situation where he missed a lot of games last year for some sort of a personal situation. We've not heard what that is, but again, he should come dirt cheap, and the Jets don't really have, outside of Stone Smart, unless you're jumping on that bandwagon. I think there's still a lot TBD from that perspective. We have another super chat coming in here. A super chat member shout out. Sco has been a member for 4 months on the channel. We appreciate it, pal. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Pop, let's get your thoughts on this. Javon Kinlaw signed a $45 million contract with $30 million guarantee with the Washington Commanders. So, danger, Will Robinson. You're going to have to face that in the NFC East, Pop.
Yeah, that that's for NFL players, it's somewhat about your talent, and then it's all about timing.
Yeah,
right. Like our linebacker room, for example, right? Yeah. We've got an All-Pro making, I think, $6 million a year, and Jamian Sherwood with 1 year is now making $15 million a year. Just crazy. It's just all about timing. So I think the Redskins, because you don't tell me what to say. I think the Redskins may have a little overreach, a little overpay there.
It felt that way. You're putting that quite lightly, but yes, I do believe that is a massive overpay, which is crazy to think about. I mean, it's crazy to think he got the same money. Think about it this way. He got the same money as Jamian Sherwood. And that's the same deal. Nick Bolton, a lot of these guys were able to get those kind of contracts, which to me is pretty gosh darn wild. Pop, is there any other free agent you want to highlight? Or are you ready for some potential phone calls here?
Yeah. By the way, somebody needs to be looking into the Redskins books because they seem to be spending more money than anybody else. It seems like somebody needs to take a peek behind the curtain and start doing little abacus.
Are we accusing something?
Not that the Redskins would ever do anything on, like installing
Unsavory?
cameras in the cheerleaders' toilets or in whatever else they did.
Oh.
If it wasn't because wide receivers are who they are, I'll tell you that there's a few interesting things. We always look at the top free agents.
Sure.
Ayuk is probably available.
Via trade,
as
yes.
crazy as
Yeah.
via trade, as crazy as that may sound. Now, I don't think it would work out. I think it'd be great for the Jets, but wide receivers, they every time they go in the huddle, they whip it out and see who has a bigger one. So it's probably not good to have two number ones in the same room, but really thinking outside the box, doing something, be confident. And I'm sure they know what they want to do and they're not showing their cards, but they really I really hope that Lazard isn't the plan for the number 2 receiver. I just really hope that's not the case.
Yeah, I wonder, again, hopefully they're holding him for potential future Aaron Rodgers trade. Wherever he lands, you just send him over there. Maybe they're just saying, hey, we have a plan at wide receiver, but we don't know if we can execute it. Trade, draft, whatever. So let's hold on to Lazard just in case. That is better than our door number B if we cut Lazard, go for the guy, unable to get the guy, and then we're like, shit, well, I guess we have Ontario Wilson. And so maybe Lazard's been there. Although Lazard led the league at drop percentage this past season, people. He has admitted that, like, the only reason he didn't have success in 2023 is because Aaron Rodgers was gone and he quit. So there's a lot of bad there. Again, maybe AG can crack the whip, and that's what a good coach does, and they're able to rally and find that point, that thing inside a person that drives them, and everyone's different. So maybe he could still unlock something within Lazard, but there's a lot of red flags of literally leading the league in drop percentage this past season, penalty machine, and then, like I said, quitting on the team during the 2023 season. Forgive but never forget. You always have to hold that sort of thing in the back of the head.
The moment somebody admits that, they're I quit on the season. Excuse me, what did you say?
Yeah. He didn't say it verbatim, I quit, but everything that he said, and he had to, like, the team, their $44 million receiver months after signing him made him a healthy scratch for like 3 or 4 games. Like, what does that say?
I do think you're onto something, that wherever Rodgers signs,
hopefully
that there's opportunity there to unload Lazard then.
All right. You ready for the phone lines, Pop?
Let's go.
All right.
By the way, hit merch.
Yeah. There
Buy
you
some
go.
merch.
Yeah. Yes, please do. We have 800 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video. Hit subscribe, baby. Let's go. Let's spread the gospel of all things Boy Green Daily. If you'd like to call in, we stream live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you have to open up a new tab. If you're on your phone or jump over to your computer, youtube.com/BoyGreen25. If you'd like to call into today's show, that will be the pinned comment on YouTube in just a moment. After this, Boy Green Daily continues.
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams. Watch Jets football with Boy Green. J-E-T-S. Jets. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, baby. Hep, the friggin' legend. Shout out to Gator for the brand new intro and the new Hep song as well. These have been great. And Hep himself, who did record that. That's not AI. That is Hep that recorded that as well. So shout out to everybody involved. It's been given a nice little boost here to all things Boy Green Daily, which is terrific. Again, the phone lines are now open. That is a pinned comment on youtube.com/BoyGreen25. Let's head on over to the phone lines. Speak of the devil. Hep joins us here on the show on a Saturday. What's up, Hep?
Hey, Pop. Hey, Paul. Hey, fellas. Pop, for a change of pace, I'm doing the steak and eggs today.
Nice.
Yeah. Because, I love the bacon, but, every once in a while, you got to switch it up. Maybe a little ham.
That.
Oh,
okay.
Nice
No, that's good. Actually, I always have steak and eggs on Sunday morning, as I have a little leftover from Saturday night's grilling. Saturday
smart.
night steak
Okay.
night. So
Right. Yeah, it's nice. Now, 2 things. I think maybe Muji and Glenn are doing Moneyball. We're assembling an island of misfit toys, right?
Yeah.
And,
you can sell me on that. Yeah.
So, we're not spending anything big. Maybe, this is a good choice. The other thing is, you were talking about the guy from Poison.
Yeah, Brett Michaels, baby. Yeah.
The first gig I played was with a guy named Bruce Johansson. He was a real nerd. His mom bought him all these guitars and stuff. He turned into a guy named C.C. DeVille, who was the lead guitar
Hey,
player
now.
for Poison. Yeah,
Wow,
that
that's
was
so
my first
crazy.
gig. I was
Wow.
15 years old, and we were playing, and my father had a heart attack. He was like, turn that down, you know.
Look
CC
at
DeVille
that.
is an amazing guitarist.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
he was
goodness.
really good, man. He had no friends. He was a real square. He didn't do any drugs, nothing like that. You know, he was really a kind of a mama's boy, you know. But then he got into Poison, and he went down the rabbit hole. He was lucky to make it out the other end, you know.
That's awesome. I love it, Hep. That's
Look
a
at
great
that.
story. Yeah, I love it,
crazy
man.
story. Anyway, see you around, guys.
All right, there you go, Hep. Wow, the musical background of one Hep. That's a book. That's
Every
a
time
full
Hep
dive
comes on,
show.
it's nothing but a good time.
There you go. I like that. There's a lot of something to believe in. There's a lot of vernacular we could sort of work in there. I'm not sure how many other people are going to get it, but you know what? Keep diving in on the Poison stuff. One free agent we missed that Dakota brought up. I did a video on it last night. Kene Nguanu. The Jets brought him back. We haven't gotten your thoughts on it yet, Pop. A special teams returner. He's a former All-Pro in 2022. And again, I said it in the video, but just to continue the rant, how the Jets signed this guy, who's, again, a former All-Pro returner, happened in 2022. The Jets signed him on September 9th. We don't see Kene Nguanu until December. The Jets just said, we're good. Xavier Gipson, we all know, sucked all year. And then in December, like, all right, let's give this All-Pro guy a spin. First game, 99 yards to the house. And all of us are like, what the? Of course he can do this. Why didn't we use this guy earlier? And we only see him for 2 games, breaks his hand, out for season, classic Jet style. But man, Kene Nguanu, I like this 1-year deal, maximum value $2.5 million. He should be our starting returner. Move over Xavier Gipson, put Kene Nguanu back there. I like the move. Again, this guy has shown he has chutzpah in the past, so I think this is good for the new regime to bring him back.
Yeah, I think so. And there's so many things that the coaching staff has done over the past couple of years. It's this is up there with the other comments, the Breece Hall,
Yeah, right.
Hassan Reddick.
Week 8, catching passes, Hassan Reddick, Micah Parsons. Wow, that guy's a little faster than I thought. There's just so much, but I just don't understand.
Material.
That's what people, like when they brought him up in December, a lot of people said, ooh, who's this guy? And I said, guys, this guy's been on the 90-man roster. It's not 90-man once you get into the season, right? The 70-man roster, whatever. Like, this guy's been here since September. They could have used this guy. Anywho, I yell and shake my hand at the tide, but the tide continues to come. Let's go back to the phone lines. We got Philium here, FL Phil 98, baby.
Good morning, boys.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a pop style approach to this thing. All right. So how many wide receivers do you usually have on your football team?
5 or 6.
Okay. Now, are people talking about Allen Lazard as number 2?
Well, potentially.
I think they're pretending like he's not on the team, but
yes,
I haven't
right.
heard him say anything.
Yeah,
well,
right.
actually, I was talking about a comment you made a few minutes ago.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that by default, currently, as there's not that many wide receivers in the room with the most experience, yes, I did say number 2, absolutely.
Right. Then that you hope the plan is not that he's number 2. That is certainly not the plan. Okay. He's under contract. Until he is the 5th worst receiver on the roster, there's no point in cutting him. And if you post-June cut him, it's only a $2 million dead cap hit for the next 3 years instead of $6 million this year.
Unfortunately, just to jump in real quick, Philium, that is no longer allowed. The Jets, every NFL team is allowed 2 of those, and they've used both on C.J. Mosley and Aaron Rodgers. So no post-June 1 opportunity here for Lazard, no matter what.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I didn't realize that they had done it. Oh, that's right. They did it with Mosley.
Yeah, both are official now. So to your point, that could factor in.
That is a point that, that's why I was thinking you might as well keep them till June 1st and do that. Okay, but point still being until you've got, people are talking about signing, an Amari Cooper. Hey, great. There's number 2. Okay. When we've got 4 or 5 guys that are definitely better, then you can cut them. And yeah, if Rodgers signs, sure, look into a trade. But there's people that are kind of going like, why is he still here? There's no freaking rush. And if worst comes to worst, if he's our 4th or 5th wide receiver, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I think most teams probably when you get to your 4th or 5th receiver are no better than Allen Lazard. And the other thing is, I got to believe on some level, the guy's a professional athlete. He's got to want to prove that he doesn't suck without Aaron Rodgers, right? And, the coaching staff, they seem to be looking at some of these reclamation projects and stuff. Maybe they are thinking, listen, we're going to do we're going to be a run-heavy team. We're going to do RPOs. We're going to have, a tight end as a 6th offensive lineman. You can use him in that role. Like, he's a good run blocker. Like, I'm not trying to make a case for keeping Allen Lazard, okay? I'll hold the door open for him. But if he ends up being here, I don't think it's that big a deal. And the other thing is, if he does have a good year, he's under contract for next year on the cheap.
I think there are 2 things here. First, something that Jet fans need to get past is I think sort of what you're hinting at is sunk cost fallacy. We keep thinking $44 million. Gee, what a bust. Look at the money. But it's too late. The toothpaste is out of the tube. There's no way to put it back. The $44 million is quote unquote spent, right? So now we live in this reality where he's on the roster. I think that's number 1 that we have to consider. The other potential point here, which could complicate him if he right, the Jets had all these pieces, right? They have a draft plan, get Amari Cooper, whatever the hell they're going to do. Let's say Allen Lazard falls to like wide receiver 4 or 5. The problem is Lazard plays 0 special teams. So normally your wide receiver 4 or 5 is contributing on special teams. So does Lazard go back to his heyday? Because when he first had to grind in the league, he had to play special teams. That's how he originally had to crank it in. So to your point, can AG find that flame that had to have been burning in there at some point and it is able to rekindle that and say, hey, man, remember when you came into the league? You were a run blocker. You did the dirty work. You were a special teamer. You started off in a practice squad in Jacksonville before you got here to Green Bay and then developed a relationship with Aaron Rodgers. So that's the key. He hasn't done it in a couple of years. Can AG find that? Maybe AG deserves the benefit of the doubt if Lazard ends up being on the roster.
Right. And all of this is speculative, right?
Of course.
But,
right.
But what I keep coming back to is there's no rush to cut the guy. All right.
I agree with that. I mean, obviously, Allen Lazard is a fallen angel that should have a chance to redeem himself.
Exactly, right? Everybody deserves that opportunity until you burn that bridge a couple of times, maybe. But, he certainly has that potential. And unless something comes along like a trade, there's just no point in cutting the guy. So I just think people keep bringing it up. The only reason I keep talking about it is people keep bringing up, when are we going to cut Lazard? And I don't see the rush. The other thing I wanted to bring up is just, I'm optimistic. I'm really optimistic. And, we've been so beaten for so long. And last year, the expectations were through the roof. And I think now, I don't know what it is. There's a lot of negativity. This is a 5 and 6 win team. And maybe they are, I don't know, but man, I have a lot of optimism right now. And I'm liking the approach in that, listen, there's not a ton of great stuff out there. So they're picking around the edges. They're grabbing a couple of guys they think they can help. If you're a professional level football player, we're going to bring you in and we're going to take a look. We got months to figure this out. We're definitely going to address at least half of our biggest concerns in the draft. I think we're going to get 2 catchers of the football, maybe a wideout and a tight end, maybe 2 wideouts. I don't know. We're going to probably get a defensive tackle. We're going to probably look at pass rusher. If we don't solve right tackle, and by the way, I don't want to play musical chairs with the offensive line.
Yeah, me either. Yeah.
Find a right tackle. You can do that. Find a right tackle.
That's simpler. Right.
Yeah. And I think that the signing of Myers is strictly an interior depth piece. He's the backup center. if we had a right tackle or left tackle injury, you can slide Tippmann and plug him in. You might even be able to work with him to replace a guard in the case of an injury. You know, it's possible. It's certainly possible. So people talking about plugging him in and I don't want to do that. I don't want to juggle the offensive line. Find a right tackle. We'll be okay. And we're not going to do this overnight. Just I keep doing my Bruce Springsteen, man. Have a little faith. There's magic in the night. We ain't a beauty, but hey, we're all right.
I love it. And you've mentioned this before, Philium, that not every free agent hole that the Jets fix are going to have a perfect player. Every rose has its thorn when you're trying to find some of those guys in there.
Yeah, we just need to get with Muji and Glenn and just ride the wind with them.
I agree, Pop. I agree.
Yeah. Well,
go Jets, baby.
There you go, Philium. Appreciate it. Well, everyone's got to make a sacrifice. That's part of the greater picture here, and that's something pretty important for all of us here. There's no question about it. So, good call from Philium, though.
That was a good call. That was a good call. Better than listening to you talk dirty to me. So,
well, that would be a little bit weird. So let's try to avoid that.
Yes, let's avoid that.
Okay, yeah. Let's stop tearing down these walls and create some new ones. DNY for life, aka Devin, baby, with a 5-pack combination of Boyd Green Cafe Club memberships. Sweet baby Jesus. All right, that is now 22 raffle tickets so far this month for Devin, a.k.a. DNY for Life, which we appreciate. Thank you, Devin. Thanks for sending those in, pal. We always appreciate it. Again, 22 raffle tickets so far this month. We always appreciate your support here on the channel. All right, here are the 5 new members to the Boyd Green Coffee Club coming up here. Mr. K, Team Curry, Bill Fond, Brian Nichols, a.k.a. Dr. Nick, and the Jet Stream, which is a great channel that you guys can watch the Jet games and the Jet Stream with, which is terrific. So thank you, DNY, for life for that contribution, right. Baby. Yes.
That's amazing. He's like, I want action.
Yeah.
So he chipped in there.
Yeah, he's one of the number 1 bad boys. There's no question about it. All right, let's go to...
He's a rose, but beware, they all have a thorn.
Well, they can often have that. I won't forget you, Pop. All right, let's get to the next caller here. We've got NY Jetsville, a.k.a. Ted, joining us here on the program. What's up, brother? What's popping?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm not a number 2 bad boy. We're doing a lot of musical. I saw Pop drop the Christopher Cross where I'd like to win. I'm not sure if he's dropping lyrics to songs.
I'm not sure what he's doing, but
or inadvertently.
But way to catch that, Ted. That's what I like about you.
He's crying tough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know that one. No. Okay, so I read something interesting this morning. You know, when you work 7 days a week lately, you get a little drunk.
Yeah, life goes on.
I saw Bryce Huff and Dallas Goedert on the trading block, and I started thinking about both of them, quite honestly. I don't know what relationship Bryce Huff has with the Jets, but his contract was 3 years, 50. He's already been paid 34. He's only owed about 17 million for 2 years. And I think he would get quite a lot of effort out of a guy, you know, looking for another contract because he's still very young.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how badly his relationship was with the old regime, but you can get him 2 years, 16 or 17 million, and I'm sure he'll be. I don't want to assume, but I'm kind of thinking he can be a double-digit guy, you know, and not a very expensive one either.
Yeah, I saw a note that said, I saw a note. He's going to cost not even, so the 2 years, sure, that's not bad money. $1 million next year for the team that trades for him. And I saw that. I'm like, okay, why not? And what are we talking about here? The Eagles are desperate. They've realized that it hasn't worked out for whatever reason for them, but we know what it's looked like here for a late round swap or something. Like, why wouldn't you at least investigate and kick the tires on something like that? So that's something I'd be certainly interested in. You know, life loves a tragedy. You know what I mean?
Paul, what's your thought about Dallas Goedert? I didn't have a chance to look at his contract either, but he's kind of a very capable fringe tight end one, quite honestly, on a good day.
Yeah,
do you know his contract situation?
I do. He's got 1 year left, and it'll be up to the two teams for negotiation to see who ends up getting it in terms of the money, because his base salary is $1 million. You love that. But the bonuses that are due to him, who's going to be responsible for all those? And there's another 7, 8, 9 million that's there of bonuses to be divvied up. Do the Eagles just eat all that? Do the Jets or any acquiring team have to eat that? That's up for debate. And obviously, he hasn't been healthy, so that's another one. When he's on the field, he's been pretty good, but way better than what the Jets have had.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been healthy.
Yeah, I'll scratch that one. I wouldn't kick the tires on that one. Bryce Huff, I'm interested in though. I don't know what we'll have to give, like you said, if it's something not too damaging. That's all I got. I just happened to see that. I know you're late in the show, so I'll be around next week. But appreciate the time and hope you feel better, Pop. I'm dealing with some kind of sinus thing too, a little bit, so I know how it goes.
I appreciate
you
it.
guys have a good one.
Thanks, Ted. I appreciate you. NY Jets FL joining us here, and it's good to have him back to the Rocking Horse. Great guy to have on the show. Pop, I know you got to go. The bacon light is on. I'll be on for a minute or two more to answer a few more phone calls, but I appreciate all your contributions to the soul. We're just a valley of lost souls down here, Pop.
Yeah. Well, just be careful what the cat drags in. But
well, your mama don't dance, so let's get it going. Huh?
There we go.
Pop, appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
There he is. Pop joining us here on the program. Esden Zone. Hop on, Pop. We got 900 people in the room for the love of everything that's holy. Like the video, hit subscribe, and good stuff there. Again, the trade market could be a creative way for the Jets to fill some of these voids. Is it Dallas Goedert? Is it Bryce Huff, who suddenly is back available? Is it Michael Mayer, the guy my dad brought up earlier, the former Notre Dame tight end? Is there another name that we're not thinking of? Those are always the fun surprises where seemingly out of nowhere, a name just sort of pops up. We're like, whoa, okay, I didn't even know that was on the Geno Smith, right? Like, I didn't even know there was available quarterback this offseason, and bing, boom, bam, he ends up with the Raiders. So sometimes you get a surprise trade, which sometimes could be pretty gosh darn interesting. All right, let's go to a legend that is now returned for that coming up here, and he is back. He always gives us something to believe in. Let's go to Neil, joining us here on the program. What's up, Neil?
How you doing?
Not too bad. Are you okay? You sick too?
No, absolutely
okay.
not. I'm sick of the Jets, if that's what you mean.
Well, I guess we're all sick of
I'm
that.
sick of free agency. I'm sick of Touch My Johnson. I'm supposed to get excited about instead of Devontae Adams,
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic about having, back to the shit that we've been for the last 15 years. I'm really excited about that,
Yeah, cry tough.
I'm excited to see when Aaron Rodgers is going to Pittsburgh and, or whatever decision he makes. That's what I'm excited about. I'm not excited about the current situation with the Jets. Quite frankly, I'm aggravated, disgusted, heartbroken, and turn my season tickets in.
Oh, Jesus.
And I am the most optimistic Jet fan you'll ever meet. And that tells you where things are, And when Ted, with his fantastic takes, he got on and said that I make some bloviated takes.
Yeah.
When he talks about, getting Bryce Huff back.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Bryce Huff is not coming back here, number one.
Okay.
They'd be idiotic to take him back.
All right.
And he's only good in a wide 9. If you put a tackle on him, he didn't even play for the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's because he only plays in one scheme, and that's the wide 9. And we're not going to play that scheme, from what I know. Do you think we're going to be playing wide 9?
We could have players playing wide 9, which means they're all the way out on the edge and they're just coming like batshit crazy. So there might be schematics where we need a player that is representing wide 9 from a schematic perspective. I don't know from
we have
overall.
Will McDonald for that. Will McDonald,
well, that's true.
Perfect guy for that. I mean, we
if,
need guys
maybe
that can
Huff's
put a
our
hat
third
on
rusher.
a hat.
Well, yes, we do. Yes, I agree. We do. Yeah.
Look, the free agency thing, they're not making a big splash. It's certainly not the free agent market we're in right now. It certainly doesn't look like a win now free agency Lollapalooza. It looks like we're taking we're going the dollar store route here and catching a couple of guys on the back end.
Neil, you have a challenger here. Ted is back here on the show. It's Neil versus Ted. Ring the bell. Ding, ding, ding.
There he is, the king of the great takes. That was a great take, Ted. I want to tell you. I hope you didn't do too much homework on getting Bryce Huff back.
At least I don't keep crying about Rodgers every day. You need to get over your man crush. Okay.
What's that?
It's the NFL, sir. Things change. You need to get over your Rodgers man crush. Because this is a business. Like you're playing business. Exactly.
What, Mike? Hang on, Ted. What?
Oh, you good? You good? Paul, he doesn't like my Paul. You know what?
He took a phone call in the middle of your debate.
What?
He used a phone a friend option.
He
What?
He has a leasing business. He leases airplanes. He leases
Oh,
airplanes.
nice. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
You know what? You're gonna come on here and cry over Rodgers. I mean, it's over. I mean, what are we doing? We moved on. I don't care where he goes. As historical purposes, fine. If he goes to the playoffs, I wish him the best. But he's not a Jet. You're gonna sit here and be depressed and cry. You know, maybe it's time to man up a little and figure out if you're really a fan or not. Maybe you want to. Why don't you go be a fan of the team that Rodgers goes to, and maybe that'll make you happy.
I think he's back. Let's see.
I'm
Neil?
back.
Okay, here we go.
Ted, I've been a fan for 56 years. I'm not going to stop being a fan, okay? Let's stop it right there. I've watched more dog shit Jet games than you will ever dream about, okay? So, and I've been at the stadium. I don't live in Florida and root for the Jets. So I will say this to you. I am pissed off.
Doesn't make me.
But that doesn't mean I'm entitled to be pissed off. I'm entitled to my opinion. A lot of really smart, longtime Jet fans share the same frustration I do, Ted. Not everybody's like jumping around. Oh, I'm very optimistic about what's going forward here. Oh, boy, we may get Justin Fields. We may get him at the bottom. He's going to be fantastic. Come on.
Hold on. Wait, Neil. I never said that, by the way. But I'm not coming on here and saying, oh, well, if Rodgers goes to Pittsburgh, and he does well, it's going to be so bad for us. I don't give a F.
No, it's not going to be bad for us. It's not going to be bad for us. It's going to be, here's the situation.
PC-wise.
Ted, everybody had, a lot of people had Rodgers derangement syndrome. Maybe you had it. I mean, there was a lot of guys in this team that listened to the Jets that had, Aaron Rodgers derangement syndrome. Okay, well, is that? Can we agree on that?
You still do.
Excuse me.
Yes, till last year when he sucked. Well, till last year when he sucked.
No, everybody. No. Like again, half
Don't
the
say
chat.
Everybody, Neil. Everybody's different.
No, I said half.
Everybody's
half
different, Neil.
or a little bit less than half.
You said
No, I said half or less.
First.
Less than half of the Jets. All right, well, we can't both speak at the same time. Let me speak, and then you can speak. You spoke while I was on the phone. About 40% of the chat had Rodgers derangement syndrome. They all complained about this thing and that thing, and we lost because of Rodgers and all the other shit, okay? Bottom line is, those 40% of those people are the same 40% now that are all talking big shit about Justin Fields and how we're going to be great and this and that and the other thing. And that's fine. That's an opinion, okay? My opinion is we made a stupid decision getting rid of Rodgers. We could have had Devontae Adams with him instead of Touch My Johnson and a couple other free agents and having a bottom 5 wide receiver room. And we could have made a run this year possibly because last year we had a top 5 roster in a lot of teams' opinion. And it was nice, Ted, to be a favorite. It was nice to be a favorite in 70% of the games that we played last year. It was nice to be a favorite. But guess what? Now we're going to be an underdog in every game. And we got to sit there and watch dog shit again. So that's what I'm prepared for. I'm ready for it.
Neil,
what are you ready for this season, Ted? What are you ready for? What are you looking for this year, Ted, besides 5 wins?
Hold on. I would say the building blocks to build the long-term franchise, successful franchise. That's what I'm looking to. Whatever it takes to get the right character players into this building and to start building a culture. I know it's a hard word to swallow, but that's where I'm at, Neil. And it's a red shirt here, Neil. It's a red shirt here.
We're back to hope. We're back to hope again. I'm hoping I'm dead wrong. That's one difference between me and everybody else. I hope I'm dead wrong. I hope that, look what I say here, lose the offseason and win the regular season. Every year, we're all optimistic we win the regular season. The offseason, and then we suck. So maybe this year, we're going to lose the offseason because certainly we're not doing great this offseason. And then we win the regular season. Maybe Glenn is going to be great. Maybe Muji will pick some good things in the draft. A lot has got to be seen. I hope, Ted, unlike everybody else, I don't want to be right. I want to be wrong. I hope this team does great. And that's it. I'm going to watch them. I'm going to be excited.
I hear you.
But for right now, it sucks is all I'm saying.
I hear you, Neil. I have 3 businesses. I have 3 businesses. You know, you have a business. I don't believe in hope, Neil. I don't believe in hope.
Point.
You got to make
That's
shit
why
happen.
I'm frustrated. I don't believe in hope
That's
either.
my point. And let me ask you a question, Neil. If you are a 40-something-year-old GM and you have a Aaron Glenn as your coach, are you going to start your franchise with a 41-year-old guy? And can you imagine the embarrassment if he went down in the first couple of weeks of the season that you banked on this guy being your quarterback? You really want to do that?
First of all, anybody, if you're gonna rely on injuries to be a decision, look, Aaron Rodgers, age is not the issue here, and injury is not the issue. He played 17 games last year. I mean, you know, that's not. But Justin Fields didn't play 17 games last year. All I'm telling you is this:
bench for Wilson.
I understand, but Justin Fields is not bulletproof. He gets injured a lot too, Ted. I think he's been injured quite a few times.
He's young though, but he's almost 20 years old. He's almost 20 years younger.
Here's where the frustration. Here's where the frustration comes in, Ted. It's obvious now that Woody Johnson wanted Aaron Rodgers out. So as a result of it, we didn't have a chance to interview the top coaching candidates vis-a-vis Pete Carroll and the Dallas coach, because when they called and said, hang on, let me finish. When they called and said, what would you do at quarterback? Oh, obviously, I'll keep Aaron Rodgers. No, we're not taking Aaron Rodgers back. Okay, I'm not interested. Don't call me back. Click. That's what all the good coaches said. They're not interested in coaching the Jets with Aaron Rodgers not on the team. So that's that. That's why we have what we have, because Aaron Glenn and Muji.
I'll leave you with it.
Go ahead. Okay. That's my opinion. And I think that's widely held by a lot of people. Not a conspiracy theory.
Okay. Neil. Who's Rodgers signed with?
Who's he signing with?
If he's so wanted,
let's put it this way. There's 3 teams. Let's put it this way, Ted. There's 3 teams that want him. There's 3 teams that are waiting for him. Pittsburgh is waiting for him. The Giants are waiting for him. They're waiting for him. Nobody signed Russell Wilson. Hang on a second, Ted. Nobody signed Russell Wilson yet because he's bad. Because Aaron Rodgers is better than Russell Wilson, and they're waiting for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. Without Devontae Adams, we had them both in the room. Okay. Bottom line.
Okay, Neil. One more point, Neil. Right. Say we decided to go your route and we're 9-8 or 10-6. You think we're beating the Bills and the Chiefs in the playoffs?
Well, let's put it this way:
or the Texans, or any of these AFC teams.
If we had 10 wins next year, hang on. If we had 10 wins this year, that means Aaron Rodgers is playing more like the pre-injured Aaron Rodgers, and he's playing great, and Devontae's having a great season. And the bottom line is, I'd rather take a shot and make a run with Aaron Rodgers with 10 wins in a regular season with a decent team. We wouldn't have been a Super Bowl team this year. We're not a Super Bowl team. But if he took us to 10 wins and got in the playoffs, yes is the answer. I'd certainly rather have him. Do I think that we're going to win 10 games with Justin Fields? Well, let's put it this way. Anybody who thinks we're going to win 10 games with Justin Fields and the dollar store guys we're getting in free agency, I think it's more likely that we're going to be in last place behind the Patriots. That's what I think is more likely. And that's where I'm at. I'm disgusted. That's all. I'm upset.
Okay.
I'm disgusted.
Okay, you can be disgusted.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I understand.
That doesn't make me any less of a
understand,
Jet fan than anybody
I
else.
appreciate it.
I'm disgusted.
Hey, Neil, because I live in Florida doesn't make me less of a Jet fan either.
No, it doesn't.
Thank you, Neil.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Well, let's put it this way, Ted. You question my Jet fandom, and like I said to you, I've been watching the Jets. I know I haven't missed a play since I'm 8 years old, and that was 1968 when I watched the Jets.
No,
so
I
don't question my
the only way
fandom.
I question your fandom.
Nobody is
No,
more
no,
of
no.
a fan
The
than
only way
I
I
am
question
on
it-
any channel. Maybe Joe Beningo, but he gets paid to be a Jet fan. He has
But
got.
you came on here complaining about Rodgers and crying about where he's
Hey,
going.
listen. I am
that's the
complaining
only
about Aaron
reason-
Rodgers.
That's wait.
I am entitled to.
Go ahead, Ted. You can talk.
That's the only reason you're. Hold on, I'm getting a call. Hold on a second. I'm getting a call.
Yeah.
There. I'm on Do Not Disturb.
Okay. Everyone's getting calls. Hold on. Stupid. I'm coming. You there? Yeah, we're there.
I
Yeah,
can't
go
hear
ahead.
you.
Okay,
hold on.
we have a whole situation here. Okay, wait.
Paul, you
Yo.
hear me?
Can you hear me?
You hear me?
Yeah, 1 second. I got everybody. So Ted, go ahead. You wanted to Neil was interrupting you. Go ahead.
Sorry. The only reason why I said
I don't hear him. Paul.
Yeah, your audio's a little off, Ted. We can't really hear you.
All right, I'll let you be.
Okay, yeah.
Have a good
All
one.
right. All right. Sorry, Ted, and thanks, Neil, for that. Good Lord have mercy. All right. All right. I see Easy is sending in like a tribal council note that he wants to get involved. Well, let's first off catch up on Super Chats. Fastest Food Reviews, a.k.a. Chef Kevin Gilbert. Good morning, Boy Green. I love the debate between these Jet fans. All right, here we go, baby. And by the way, with your previous Super Chats, Chef Kevin Gilbert, that's another raffle ticket.
Wow.
Thank you, Chef. Appreciate that. We have another super chat coming in here as well. This is Daniel Bloom. He wants to get involved. Okay, appreciate you.
Wow.
Character players, Ted. We signed Boyd, who's fighting coaches losing. Will force talent to leave and saying the Rodgers sucks. You forget how bad it could be. I would say this. Let me reset. There's been a lot said here. Let's reset. Neil brought up, and I'm sure Neil will come back on in a second when we have everybody else and we can keep debate time going. Neil said he enjoyed the grandeur of being a favorite a lot for the Jets last year. There was expectations. There was some chutzpah. There was all those things. To me, the Jets still won 5 games. So being a favorite heading into the game and then losing feels just as bad as being an underdog and losing to me. Losing is losing. So while, sure, it's cool to have expectations, but none were greater than 2023 expectations that we lost. Last year was another sick, twisted game of like Saw because Aaron Rodgers started every game. Now, Ted argues maybe Aaron Rodgers shouldn't have started all 17 because of the product we were getting, but he started all 17. And again, it's that thing that sometimes you see like a game happens and then you see some stats after you go, man, if I would have told you this before the game, would you have believed me? If someone would have told me before the season, hey, Paul, I've looked into the future. Aaron Rodgers is starting all 17 games. I'm like, well, okay. All right. I thought he would have sat in the final week because we're resting for the bye. But, okay, here we go. And there's the reality. He plays all 17, but we didn't get the quality of 17. There were some runs there where the Jets weren't scoring touchdowns. And it was unfortunate. So everyone's got a ticket, by the way, Daniel. That's good enough for a raffle ticket for you too, my friend. I appreciate that. Thank you for sending that along. Debate time continues. So shout out to Data Bloom. You got a raffle ticket. Chef Kevin Gilbert, you got yourself another raffle ticket in here. Another super chat coming in here from Daniel Bloom. Let's put that through.
Wow.
Mike Tomlin and KOC is talking about Kevin O'Connell want Aaron Rodgers, Ted. Yeah, there are 3 teams that seem to be in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes, 2 of which are completely desperate. That's the New York Giants, excuse me. It said New York Titans, like it's 1960 again. The New York Giants and the Pittsburgh Steelers are both desperate, and the options are limited. The Vikings are flirting with it. Maybe. And again, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, why would you want to go to the Vikings with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and everybody else? So to me, that would make plenty of sense. If they wanted to go in that direction. And Daniel, you got yourself another raffle ticket, so keep them coming. You have 2 raffle tickets so far this month on the Super Chat. So yes, yeah, they are. A lot of teams are considering Aaron Rodgers, it appears. But I would say this: like, I wanted Aaron Rodgers back. Aaron Rodgers back would have been fun. I have Aaron Rodgers jerseys. We all remember the flag. I still think. Let me minus the screen real quick. Let me minus this screen. Yeah, it's still my background. My background on my desktop computer is Aaron Rodgers running out with the American flag. So, I mean, it's still there. I haven't changed it yet, But these debates have been wildly entertaining. So, but I appreciate the Jets going in a different direction. Here's the other thing I don't think sort of hits for the people that are pro Rodgers. And again, I see we have a bunch of callers. For the people that are pro Rodgers, here's something that could have happened that would have tanked the new regime. Let's walk it through, okay? And thank you, Daniel Bloom. We have another super chat here from for Lily and Big D. We'll get to that in a second for the awesome entertainment. If the Jets bring back Aaron Rodgers with Aaron Glenn as the head coach and Darren Mucci as the general manager, Aaron Glenn is banking on Aaron Rodgers buying what he's selling. So let's say he buys what he's selling initially. But then all of a sudden, in the middle of the season, Aaron Rodgers goes, I don't know if I'm buying what this Glenn guy is selling. And Aaron Rodgers is a guy that's very polarizing. There are a lot of guys that were upset when he was gone, Quinnen Williams namely being one of them, and he wasn't the only one, that love Aaron Rodgers. He's a great teammate. He's a Hall of Famer. There's a lot of reasons why Jet players love him. And if Aaron Rodgers at some point during the first season of Aaron Glenn all of a sudden didn't buy in, he would have an entire posse of players on the roster who would follow whatever he says. And if he doesn't believe, they don't believe. Then Aaron Glenn's entire tenure as a head coach, which, by the way, might only be once. This might be the only shot he ever gets. Could be tanked by the being attached to Aaron Rodgers. I don't know, man. If I'm Aaron Glenn, and I think I don't know, if I only have one shot at this head coach thing, I want to live and die on my sword. If I go down the Justin Fields train and I sign him and I fail on that, then so be it. I don't think Aaron Glenn, by the way, would be fired if Justin Fields doesn't work out. But on the Aaron Rodgers thing, if that all goes to hell and the locker room implodes and all that shit, Aaron Glenn is in a fucked up, backed up situation. Like, oh shit, now I'm playing catch up with whatever happened to Rodgers. Is there a chance that things could have worked out here with Rodgers here? Everyone come back this year? Of course. But what are the chances that it couldn't work out? I don't think that's something that we address enough, if I'm being honest. Which is why I don't blame Aaron Glenn, Darren Mucci and company saying, you know what? No thanks. And that's ultimately what happened there. We'll add those up for you, Flora Lily, in just a little bit under Super Chats coming in. But yes, wildly entertaining for all of this coming through. Let's bring the rest of the Super Chats here, and then we'll go back to the phone lines here.
Wow.
Wrong Verb's been a member for 2 months, said some people are just tired of being optimistic, and that's fine. To me, unless I'm dead or something else changes, I'm a glass half full guy. I could convince myself that the Jets can turn this around, but fans that are older and have been through some battle scars might be sick of going through that process. Different strokes, different folks. To me, let's see what happens. I'm not pounding the table saying, hey, move over, everybody. Justin Fields about to win the Super Bowl. But I'm also not saying, I'm not reserving, well, we're only winning 5 games. Oh, well, it's over. Says who? There's still the draft. There's still potential trades. There's a lot unsaid here for this Jets roster. There are multiple starters that are not accounted for yet. I'm not reserving myself to Loserville. Hell no. Let's see what happens. I have an open mind. Let's see. Let's check out this AG thing. We'll be able to tell very early as the coaching dramatically increased. If the roster stayed basically the same, there's been a lot of free agents that have left. If the roster stays basically the same and the coaching dramatically increases, I think the wins dramatically increase. But different strokes, different folks. Let's go to the phone lines here. Up next, got Scotty Mayhem here on the show. What's up, Scotty?
Paul, you did an absolutely great job in, revisiting that. You called it an amazing debate. I think it was a fucked up debate, but let me just give you my perspective on this.
Please.
First of all, I've been a fan as long as cigar smoker. Okay. And I'm a positive fan, not a negative fan. I understand what he's saying. I loved Aaron Rodgers, so let's be clear. Aaron Rodgers was not the problem last year. The team loved him. The problem was the coaching. There was a culture built of non-accountability for 3 years, penalties, never having a hard conversation with anybody. It was a freaking country club. And the players that are there now better wake up, because I love Garrett Wilson. I love Sauce Gardner. I love all those players. They're my guys. But it's a new regime. And just like you said, why would Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji take the chance that Rodgers is going to go rogue? He could. He did it with the owner. He threw the owner under the bus with his son and the stupidity on the NFL, game that everybody plays. You can't take that chance. Listen, Aaron Rodgers was not the problem last year. Let us be clear. The coaching was the problem. The country club attitude was the problem. The penalties were the problem. We had 6 leads. We lost the most leads of any team in the league. We should have won over 10 games. We lost it because of kicking, injuries, and stupidity in coaching. So I want to give this coaching staff every opportunity, whether they're shopping on the fringes or bringing upside into the Jets, have some positivity. Neil, I just can't stand it. You are what's wrong with Jet Nation. You're passionate, you love your team, but you have a negative mentality. Wake the fuck up, okay? It's time. Aaron Glenn is going to turn this team around. Why? Because he wants to be here. He was a Jet. He was there for the amazing run up into the championship game, and he knows how it felt when we lost that 10-point lead. Okay, give the man a chance. Give Muji a chance. I love Joe Douglas, by the way. I thought he put a top 5 roster together. They had the worst coaching. Saleh is a great defensive coordinator. He is not a head coach. He did not know how to confront his players, and he had maybe 1 or 2 good coaches on that team. Keith Carter is dog shit. Okay, we had no running game, and we have some of the best runners in the league. Let's be clear. Give this coaching staff a chance. Give this new GM a chance. You don't know what Justin Fields is going to do. You have no freaking idea. And what you said, Paul, is 100% right. How do we know that better coaching is not going to uplift this entire team? I'd rather shop on the fringes than have a winning off season and have a dog shit year. We were 5-12. We won 5 freaking games. I don't want to win 5 games, and I want to believe in this new regime. So you want to put Neil on? Let's have a conversation, Neil, with your negative stupidity. I don't want to hear this shit anymore, because I am also part of Jet Nation, and I've been here as long as you. And I had season tickets for 30 years. And I'm in Florida, by the way, like Ted. I just moved here, and I gave up my season tickets. So the fuck what? I'm not giving up my passion for the Jets. I believe in Fields bringing us to the playoffs. Are we a Super Bowl team? No, not yet. You don't know what's going to happen in free agency. So stop the garbage with your negativity. I don't want to hear it anymore. And be a fan. A fan means that you roll with the new regime until the new regime doesn't do what they said they're going to do. I'm going to give them that benefit of the doubt. That's my
Neil,
take on what you both said.
Yeah, Neil is on here, so we will go right to Neil.
Let's go, Neil. You want to debate? Let's debate.
We have 1,000 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, keep the super chats and memberships coming. We'll continue to work those in between all of this great conversation here on the show. So here we go. And my one note here for Neil, and I appreciate all the passion, is that you guys could go back and forth and do all your stuff. I don't really have rules for Fight Club over here, but let's try to allow each other to speak occasionally, Neil, if we can. So without further ado, Neil rejoins us here on the show. Neil?
Scott, you said a lot there, buddy. Could I talk? Could I say something and defend myself now?
I would love to hear what you have to say.
Cigar-smoking negative Jet fan.
I would love to hear it.
All I said, but you don't understand, Scott. You and I are on the same. You agree. You said you were upset that we got rid of Aaron Rodgers. Were you
100%.
Okay.
Not with the new regime.
And you agree with me.
Not with the new regime.
Hang on.
I'm upset that Aaron Rodgers had the old coaching regime that didn't know what the hell they were doing. I think Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback. But guess what? I believe the new regime is going to take Justin Fields and they're going to bring us to the playoffs. I believe that. Just because you say it's not going to happen doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
I'm getting a chance to speak here. You want to shut the fuck up a second?
No,
let me talk?
I don't want to shut the fuck up.
All right, you don't want to let me talk then. Okay, congratulations, Scott. Great. You won a one-sided debate with yourself. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great. I'm glad you're happy. Okay. Now, I just wanted to make a point. You're very happy. You're upset that we got rid of Aaron Rodgers. You said that the coaching was the reason we lost last year. That was just 100%. One reason. Our defense was for shit. Our kicking game lost a lot of game. Exactly. So here's what we got, Scott. We were all excited about Aaron Rodgers. You were excited. I was excited. I have season tickets, and I just gave them up because I don't want to see anything. I was very excited about Aaron Rodgers, okay? And I do have season tickets. Now, I will say, as far as why we lost, you and I are in perfect lockstep with that. What we have a better chance to win, because to me, I want to win every year, and every year you want to win, okay? And my attitude is, one more year of Aaron Rodgers, I have more confidence in Aaron Rodgers returning and doing better than last year, which was not bad, by the way, Scott. I didn't see many years that we had 28 touchdowns at the quarterback position and almost 4,000 yards of passing. Would you agree with that? Did we see that many times in our?
You want me to respond, or you just?
Have we seen that many times? Have we seen that? Just give me a yes
or no.
Here's
the response. You didn't hear what Paul Green's.
I said, do you give me a yes or a no? Let me finish my point.
What Boy Green said. This is why you're living in the past. You're living in the past. Listen, it's very, very simple, and this is the point that you're not getting. Okay, I agree. Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback. You didn't hear what Boy Green said. You have a new regime. They do not want to deal with a mutiny, okay? They made a decision. If you're a true fan, I gave them my tickets because I moved to Florida. You're in New York and you gave up your tickets. You gave up your tickets in New York. If I was still in New York, I would still be going to the game. You gave up your tickets because you don't want to believe in your new regime. It's a new year. You can't have him there. Not because he's not the better quarterback. He's the better quarterback. We agree, Neil. So the frig what? It doesn't matter.
I agree.
You have to bank on the new regime. The new regime says that there's a possibility that Aaron Rodgers is going to cause a mutiny. Look what Aaron Rodgers did with the owner. Look what he did with the owner. He threw the owner under the bus. The owner who gave you all the money. He gave you all the money to buy all the players that you wanted.
You just showed it right there. There's a chance there'll be a mutiny.
Rodgers
is going to cause a mutiny. Rodgers is a...
It's a possibility. I didn't say he was going to cause a mutiny. You don't listen. You don't understand.
I don't care about...
No, you don't understand. There's a possibility. That's what Boy Green said.
There's a possibility that Rodgers is going to go rogue.
So you have to allow the regime to run the team the way they want to run it.
Regime, Scott.
You don't get the regime.
Yes,
you want to live in the past. You got to let this coaching staff. You got to let this coaching staff and the GM build their culture. It's a different culture. It's not the culture that Salah built. Okay, it's not the culture of country club. It's not the culture of having more penalties than any team in the league. Look at the freaking penalties. Look at the fact that Salah couldn't confront anybody. Look at that freaking coach who's the worst interim coach in the history of football. We have a new regime, Neil. Okay, you're not a true fan. You gave up your tickets. You gave up your tickets, and you're in freaking New York.
Do you blame me?
Why did you give up your tickets? Why are your tickets no longer there, Neil?
Scott, I invested last year over $20,000 in the Jets, okay? I went to games on the road. I went to Dallas. I went to Vegas. I went to road games, okay? So again, I just don't want – I'm not going to go get season tickets in the 300 section.
Why?
I spend big money to see the Jets.
You're going to end up losing out on Justin Fields.
I'm not going to spend $20,000.
You're going to end up losing out on AG.
Don't blame me, please.
You know AG is the most.
Wait, let me ask you a question,
Listen,
Scott.
AG wanted to come to be our coach. 4 other teams wanted AG to be their head coach. AG didn't want to go to those 4 other teams. He didn't even freaking take in visits. He came to the Jets because he wanted to freaking be the head coach of the Jets. You're not a real fan. You gave up on them.
Oh, my
You
God.
gave up on them. Okay? Come
Scott,
to Florida.
did you
We'll
want? I
sit-
have a question.
Come to
Scott.
Florida and we'll sit next to each other, you and me with our Jet jerseys, okay? Here, Wayne Corbett. Listen, I have every Jet OG Jet jersey. Come to Florida. I'll buy tickets for you, okay? And we'll sit and we'll root for the Jets. But here's the deal, Neil. I would never give up my Jet season tickets unless I moved away from New York. I moved away from New York. I had season tickets for 30 years, okay? 30 years. And it kills me.
Well, how come?
But
How
I
many
don't
games
give up
did
on
you
my
go to?
team.
Wait, how
You
many games
gave
did
up
you
on
go
your
to
team.
last year, there, big
Tell
fan?
everybody in Jet Nation
Did you
why
go
you
to
gave
any
up on,
games,
why
Scott?
did you give up on your team?
I asked
Because you don't like
did
the
you go
new
to any
regime.
games? You blow
You don't like Aaron Glenn.
Jesus
You know it.
Christ, this guy's crazy. Did you go to any games last year, big fan, in person?
Dude, I went
you
to
go to
every
any games?
game until I moved to
you
Florida.
Sat in Florida.
Don't tell me
and you
about my
probably didn't even
team.
watch the
I watch
games.
every single game. And
Oh,
I am
wow.
not.
Did you go
I'm
to
not.
any?
I don't give up on my team. You
Did
gave
you
up
go
on
to
your
the
team.
Miami game? It's right
You
around the
gave
corner
up on
from
your
you.
team.
Did you go to
I go to
Jacksonville?
all
It's
the
right around the
games that
corner.
I went to every single home game. I went to
I'm
every
asking
game
you,
that
did
when
you
I
go
was in
any
New York.
games last
Okay.
year?
Here's the reality of this. Okay, this is
guy doesn't
your
like
problem,
Aaron
Neil.
Rodgers, Paul.
Neil,
He's full
your
of shit. He's got
problem
Aaron
is
Rodgers
your
derangement.
problem is that you're
He's
living in the
gonna have
past.
a.
You
he's
are
gonna go
living in the
against
past,
team.
Neil.
He's gonna give
It's
up.
a
He's
new
gonna walk
coach.
away.
It's a new regime. You
I
want to
heard
give
you.
up on your
Did
team?
you want? Wait.
So
Did you
be
want
it.
Salah back last
So
year?
be
Yeah,
it.
question. Wait. Did you want Salah back last year, Scott?
I want Salah back as my
No.
defensive
I asked
coordinator.
You, did you want Salah back
I
last
want
year?
Salah to be my defensive coordinator. I think he ran a country
You still want
club.
him?
I believe he ran a country
You just
club.
said he was an asshole that was
No,
running a country
that's
club.
not what
Now
I
you want
said,
him as
Neil.
a defensive
I said that
coordinator?
the country club attitude is gone. I believe Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are going to build an entirely new culture. And guess what? I'd rather have fringe players that are dogs. All right? You have no idea what this team's going to do this year. You have no
Listen,
idea how good they're going to be.
Do
No,
you, Scott?
but I'm putting my faith in the fact that I
always
believe
have
Aaron
faith.
Glenn. I'm putting my faith in the fact that I believe Aaron Glenn is the right head coach. And I believe Darren Muji, until proven otherwise,
He could be
is
the
going
best.
to build
Listen,
the right
he
culture.
He could be Vince Lombardi. He's going to lose. If Vince Lombardi was coaching
Sure,
his team, we might
because
get the
you
Heat
say
win.
so.
How many wins, Paul,
Because
will we have
you
with
say
Vince
so.
Lombardi with this?
We had 5 freaking wins last
Maybe
year,
we'll
Neil.
get to 9.
Neil, we had
Hold on.
5
Vince
wins last
Lombardi.
year.
9
5
wins that
wins.
team. That's
We
what
were
I see.
awesome, Neil. We were awesome. We won 5 games last year. That's what you want.
Again, it doesn't mean that running it back with Rodgers wouldn't have been the better suggestion.
It doesn't mean it would have.
But I would say this, Neil.
Take into account
See,
what Boyd Green
yes.
said. You're not listening.
And I'm going to repeat it right now,
What-
Neil,
what
for
is
you.
Boyd Green? Jesus Christ?
Well,
no, he's a lot smarter than
He's
you.
No,
He's
he's
a lot
not.
smarter than you.
Wait a minute. Take
well,
it
hey.
easy there, buddy.
I
I've
would
been
say.
look at Paul. I like Paul a lot.
Thank
He's
you.
very good.
I
but
appreciate that.
Paul works for the media. Paul also has a job in the media, and Paul would be the first to say to you that there's plenty guys out there that have been in the media for the Jets for 40 years that aren't worth a shit and hate the Jets and hope they lose. Paul, is that a fair statement?
That is not Paul.
No,
Paul
I
gave
would.
you the
I know it's
reason.
not Paul.
Yeah.
Paul gave you the reason. You just don't want to listen.
Yeah, I would say here's the reason, Neil, of why the Jets decided
Paul,
to move
Scott,
on
we're
from
making
Aaron.
opinions here. There's no facts. Paul.
Well, 1 second, Neil. I
He's
don't like
giving you
muting people.
something to think about.
Yeah, I just want you to think about this point, Neil. You don't have to. It's smarter, dumber, agree, disagree. I'm fact or fiction. That's up for all you guys to decide. But I will say this for the Rodgers truthers: the thing that I don't think they see, and label them all. I won't name names for all the Aaron Rodgers truthers out there. I think the thing that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji obviously thought about for 2 or 3 weeks, so they get the jobs and they're sitting all together. All the roster boards are in the room, and they're like, "What do we do with Aaron Rodgers? All right, is he the best quarterback option? Yes or no? What are the alternatives? Okay, here they are. All right, here's our biggest thing that I imagine this happened in the room, and I don't know this for fact, but I imagine this is what happened, is that Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji said, boys, looking at each other, we don't know if this is our only chance. We have to assume it is. Are we willing to bring back Aaron Rodgers and live and die by whatever happens? And what I mean by that is, obviously, Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are going to have their own messaging of everything they're going to do. And they have to hope that Aaron Rodgers buys in. If Aaron Rodgers buys in, great, and everything goes smoothly. What if he buys in and then all of a sudden halfway through the year, he's like, you know what? I've been around the league for 20 years. I don't believe in this Glenn Muji unit. I think it sucks. I think they're not doing it right. And then all of a sudden contentious energy arrives. Aaron Rodgers is an influential guy. We saw it from Quinnen Williams. As soon as it was announced that he was parting ways, Quinnen Williams came out and said, man, fuck this. Another rebuilding year. Here we go. Rodgers has a posse on the team because Aaron Rodgers is a great teammate. He's polarizing. All these people like him. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't believe in Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji at any point during the season, the entire or a large portion of the team all of a sudden doesn't believe. And then all of a sudden you lose the locker room and all shit goes loose and this could blow up. So I think Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji said, how big of a chance is that from actually happening? And if they said, well, 1%, 5%, 10%, they're like, shit, that's not worth it because I don't want Darren Glenn and Aaron Muji to attach ourselves to Aaron Rodgers. And if that blows up, all of our asses are on the line and we've blown up this thing. I don't think they get fired within the year, but if that all blows up, that destroys their entire plan of whatever they had. They decided, okay, Justin Fields may be the worse quarterback than Aaron Rodgers. I think we can all admit that. Based on everything that we've seen, he appears worse, but we'll see what happens once the season gets here and Tanner Angstrom and everybody. We're taking a lesser quarterback, but we're not going to get any of the shit. Justin Fields, he got benched last year after the Steelers started 4-2. Did we hear a word from Justin Fields complaining about being benched? No, we didn't. Did we hear any shit from him? He buckled his chin strap and waited on the sideline and handled everything with class. He got to free agency. Steelers said, we want you back. He's like, fuck you. I'm going to a new place. And I don't blame him because they benched his ass. But he doesn't cause drama. Rodgers does. Now, every NFL team has to make the decision. Am I willing to take the drama for the player? I mentioned it earlier with Stephon Diggs. He's a really good player, but there's some bullshit that comes with him. Are you willing to take the bullshit for the goodness? The Jets were not willing to do that with Aaron Rodgers. And again, I think that's the thing that Rodgers truthers, are not fully taking on with him coming back. There could have been drama. The Jets new regime didn't want the drama, so they washed their hands of it and ripped off the Band-Aid. That makes sense to me. And I will unclick Neil here. So here you go. Neil, your response.
My response is there is no chance, Paul, that Aaron Rodgers would create controversy within the team. He did not say one bad thing about Saleh leaving. In fact, he was upset that Saleh left because he had a relationship with his son. They played catch. He was a very good soldier about Saleh leaving, okay? Then he was behind Ulbrich. He was very happy. He didn't say a bad word. Did he say a bad word about anything about our coaching? And guess what? If I was Aaron Rodgers, I would have said plenty of shit about how bad our coaching was.
Well, he did poke at Pat McAfee after the season. He poked at Woody Johnson and said about the fact that I could be cut and things of that nature.
Johnson, your son should stick to playing video games. That's what he said to Woody Johnson.
Which
he's entitled to, hey, he said something. He's not going to, but didn't say anything bad about the players. Never said anything bad about the coaches. When he plays for the team, he's all in for the team. He's all in for winning. I can't see in a million years, all of a sudden mid-season, he's going to get on the podium and say, oh, I'm not happy about the way the team's playing. If anything, he would have said it last year. He didn't say it. Last year was an abysmal situation. And it wasn't most of it wasn't his fault. But it happened.
So here's an example. And by the way, I sided with Rodgers on this, although a lot of people did not. He called Redline out on Mike Williams. I said that's kind of, to me, I appreciated the accountability of calling him out, but a lot of other people did not, including Mike Williams. That's a perfect situation, right? AG comes out and says something because head coaches speak first at media availabilities after game. He says something. And then Rodgers comes up next and he says other things. And then AG's like, what the fuck? We're not on the same page. And again, that gets to the Saleh Rodgers thing again. There's just a chance that it can fuck up. That's just the point.
When the only thing could fuck up is his falling off as far as his performance goes.
No.
What people make too much of, Paul, and I'll leave it at this. I don't want to talk about it anymore. The bottom line is the media, the people. He's a polarizing guy because he didn't take his vaccines and all the other bullshit. The bottom line is he's a great player. He's a great teammate. And we don't know anything else besides those two things. Everything else there's so many words that have been put in this guy's mouth in the last 5 years. It's ridiculous. People say this, people say that. And he comes on and says, McAfee. I never said any of that stuff. These guys come out and say things. It's, there's a persona created in the media about Aaron Rodgers. Let's face it. And we don't know who Aaron Rodgers is, but I do know one thing. Okay, the players were upset when he left. Is that a fact?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I can't speak
So
for all of them,
that's
but
all
a
I
large
care
portion.
about.
Yeah.
What did the locker room think about him? Okay. I know what the locker room thought about Zach Wilson. We found that out after fact, right? They thought the guy was a moron.
But the inmates
Locker
don't
room
run
did
the
not like
asylum.
Zach Wilson.
It's not a democracy.
If
It's
they-
not,
if
hey,
they-
all right, everybody, I'm going to give you a piece of paper. Do you want Rodgers back or not? All right, we had 80% of the votes said they want Rodgers back. Aaron Glenn said it. There's going to be decisions he makes that it's not going to vibe with the rest of the team. And guess what? I'm the HC, so suck it, people. I make
All
these
right.
decisions. You got to ride or die with them.
I believe, here's what I believe, and I'll leave
All
it
right.
at this.
Okay.
I believe that the 33rd team
Mm-hmm.
was given a directive. The directive was to find us a coaching staff, a good coaching staff that does not want Aaron Rodgers back, because I don't want him back. And that is why we did, because we all sat there going, why isn't we not interviewing Pete Carroll? Why are we not interviewing Gruden?
Yeah, it's Pete Carroll,
Why-
John Gruden, and Mike McCarthy. Those are the names
McCarthy,
you're
why
talking
are we
about.
not interviewing those guys? Paul, the answer is simple. Because when they called and said, yes, I would like to request an interview, and Tannenbaum said, well, just so you know, we're not taking Aaron Rodgers back. Oh, thanks very much. Lose my phone number. Click.
But why would that
That's
have
what
come
I
up?
believe happened.
That doesn't
I
seem
could
to
be
make
wrong.
sense. Yeah.
I could be wrong. And guess what? Do you really think that they went into Tannenbaum and said, I'm going to run things my way, and I might get rid of Aaron Rodgers and all this? And Tannenbaum's like, oh, that's a great idea. I got to tell you something. I believe that if you ask 10 coaches that are the best coaches in the league, who would they rather run with this year, Aaron Rodgers or Justin Fields and the rest of them? The answer is Aaron Rodgers and 9 of the 10 coaches that know what the hell they're doing.
But they wouldn't even known. We didn't even know we were going to have Justin Fields. So the decision would have been Aaron
Anybody-
Rodgers or
but
Plan B.
Wait a minute. If I'm a coach, I'm not stupid. I see what's there in free agency. We all know there was not like there's a great opportunity in a free agent quarterback out there this year. There was no opportunity. So if I'm a coach and I'm saying, well, I'm going to come coach the Jets and I want to win now. Well, guess what? If I want to win now and I'm a coach of the Jets, I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers over the rest of what's out there. And it's proving out to be the case.
They won
because-
5 games last year, though.
Wait. He didn't win 5 games.
Who?
The team won 5 games.
Well,
and
he's
not
the quarterback of the
reason we
team.
won 5 games, Paul.
I
We
know,
already
but-
went through that. 3 games were blown by Zerline.
Yes.
2 games we had the lead and the defense gave up. We were 2-5 with the lead in the fourth quarter, Paul. That was record setting. No team in NFL history was 2-6.
But where does the quarterback get the credit? Like in the Vikings game, he could have driven us down the field. He threw a pick. The Bills game, he says the red line, but okay, I'm sorry, the wide receiver ran the wrong route. There's other moments during that game that everything was on the line. It was week 6. The Jets win that game. They take first place in the AFC East. Aaron Rodgers was unable to bring his team back in the fourth quarter to deliver the game-changing plays that would have won them. I agree with you. Aaron Rodgers isn't responsible for everything. He doesn't have 100% of the blood on his
Let me
hands.
just say this to you. He
Okay.
was a arguably at the last 6 games, because you can't take the first 6 games and make a year out of it because the guy just came off an Achilles, okay? So let's pump the brakes a little bit, all right? He didn't play all the year with Achilles. Look what happened to Kirk Cousins, okay? The guy fall off a cliff.
But if you
The
play, then you have to take it. So, like, that's Aaron
Whoa, whoa,
Rodgers
whoa.
got the same
I
shit with the
blame
Packers
coaches.
injury.
Let's just say this to you, and again with the coaching, and Scotty will agree with me on this. Okay, a good coach when he got his ass kicked in the Denver game, a good coach when he went to the sideline and was going into the tent, came back out. A good coach like Vrabel or somebody else would have put his hand up and said, "Go sit down. We're putting somebody in for a game or 2 until you get healthy." He
They should
played
have, right.
several games this year, Paul, with a hamstring, a knee, and with 3 injuries. He
It's the
played,
same thing as
okay?
2008.
I
The
know,
Jets started
hold on.
8-3. Brett Favre tore his bicep tendon.
Right.
If a real coach and general manager would have said, "Hey, sit your ass on the bench.
Okay,
It's
so
Kellen Clemens time," and they didn't.
Let's pretend that the games that he played injured, which he did not play well,
Okay.
that we had Tyrod Taylor, and there was probably a good chance we would have won those games. Now, Is that Aaron Rodgers' fault that the coaches didn't have the balls to take him out of the game? I say yes, it's the coach's fault. And we all
So
go
Aaron
back to
Rodgers
all
is immune. So if he plays through injury, as you say that he did, and the coaching staff didn't tell him not to go on the field, no matter what Aaron Rodgers did, he gets all the credit for all the success he had. But any failures, like, hey, they should have pulled me off the field.
No,
So
hey,
he's
listen.
an infinity clause? That doesn't make any
No,
sense.
the bottom line is
Could I have,
anybody
like,
that's
1 minute?
competitive,
Could I have, like,
that's a
1
Hall
minute
of
to
Fame
talk?
player, is going to go in the game, Paul. They're not going to take themselves out. I mean,
Could I
you
just say
just
one
gave the
thing?
perfect example. Brett
Could I say
Favre
one
played every
thing?
game
Could you
injured.
mute him so I could
Okay,
talk for 1
I'm
minute?
done.
Just give me 1
Take
minute.
care. This
Just give me 1 minute. I just want to have 1 minute.
Okay,
So
he's gone.
Paul, he just makes the point. Nobody could take Aaron Rodgers out because that's who Aaron Rodgers is. The coaching staff didn't have the ability to take him out of the game, even though it would have been in the Jets' best interest. He should not have been playing for like 2 or 3 games. He's a warrior. There's no doubt about it. Look at his statistics. I mean, he's had historical numbers, even in a down year for the Jets, right? It's like one of the best years of any Jet quarterback ever. But here's the problem. It's
Okay.
what you stated. No Jet head coach or any of the coaches could supersede what he wanted. He should not have been playing. And that was the whole problem. The coaching staff was so weak. It was so weak. Just putting Rodgers aside, not taking him out of the game. Look at the amount of penalties. Look at the amount of mental mistakes. And nobody had any accountability. There was no accountability. So look, I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying. I love Aaron Rodgers. I think he was, I feel Neil's pain. I mean, I know how much the Jet fans wanted him to succeed. But the reality of this is it's a new regime. It's a new era. We can't look back. Joe Douglas built a top 5 roster. Everybody said it, not just us, not just us Jet fans. The talking heads were saying how great the roster was. The weakness was not the players. The weakness was the coaching staff, top to bottom. And that's it. So we can't look back. It's a new regime. I put my trust in Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji. Yes, we're shopping on the fringes, but we wouldn't have won this year a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, and we're probably not going to win one this year, but it's going to be fun. Justin Fields is going to bring a lot of fun to the team. The only other one I could imagine would have been Jameis Winston. A lot of fans wanted that, right?
Yeah,
that would have been fun.
Yeah,
But
that would have been crazy.
it's not the culture he wants to build. I believe that Fields gives us a chance to, like you said, I mean, the best part about him is look at what his teammates said about Justin Fields. He's a leader. He's tough as hell. He wants to win. He didn't cause one issue when he got benched. When he was 4-2, he's trying to turn his career around. He didn't say one word. That's who I want in my team. And we'll see where it goes. I'm not guaranteeing we're going to be world beaters, but I think it's the right direction. I think most Jet fans, even though they're frustrated, Neil's living in the past. That's the problem. He wants Aaron Rodgers on this team, and it would never work. There's too much of a chance of what happened. And he said a lot more about the owner and his son. Like, this is a new thing for him, that he might get fired by a kid. I mean, he said a lot of stuff. So he's a polarizing figure. That doesn't mean the team didn't love him. I know he's a great teammate. I know he's a great quarterback. But I 100% agree with your assessment. Just give this regime a chance. Just give him a chance, and let's see where we go. Give him a couple of years. It's been a disaster. I don't want to be off-season winners anymore. I want to win in the season, not in the draft or, in free agency.
Fair enough, Scotty. I appreciate the call. And yet that's what I would say as well in free agency. We have a lot of calls. We'll get to everybody here. The fact of the matter is the Jets could sign one of these free agents you guys are all drooling over that's a top free agent. It's going to be decent money. And we have a small dopamine rush right now of, oh, yeah, look who they signed. And then we get to see, we're like, oh, boy. So if the regime doesn't believe in these players, then don't sign them. Don't overpay. Now, eventually, there will need to be some more moves made at key positional holes, but we'll get there when we get there. All right, let's go through. We got EZ here on the show. What's up, EZ?
Tyron Smith.
Yep.
Hassan Reddick.
Yep.
The big splash doesn't always work.
Can you just bring your mic a little closer to your mouth there, sorry, EZ?
The big splash doesn't always work.
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
I remember back in, I think it was either the late 70s or the 80s, the New York Mets got George Foster from the Cincinnati Reds. This guy had 50 home runs every freaking year. Came to the Mets, he sucked. I mean, he sucked. Who thought George Foster was going to suck?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I bet you if he went to the Yankees, he'd have been great because nobody wants to be the guy that sucks in the pinstripes. You can't suck if you go to the Yankees. But this was just the fucking Mets, you know? Well, that's what people think. It's fucking Jets. Who gives a shit? They're willing to give me stupid money. They got stupid coaching. We're going to have a stupid record, but I don't care. I'm going to make my freaking purse. That's it.
Yeah.
I think what happened was I'm not going to defend Joe Douglas on everything, but he built us a top 5 team.
And everyone agreed on that. Athletic, NFL.com at all, sure.
The coaching staff screwed the pooch, and I think the nail in the coffin was when Joe D got rid of our defensive line and decimated it with stupid trades. That's what killed him. I believe if our defense was still good and we would have won like maybe 7 or 8 games, I think Salah would have been gone. I think they would have kept Joe D. If we could have won 8 or 9 games, they'd have kept Joe D because he would have proved at that point it is the coaching.
I'm not sure if he would have survived. They probably would have needed playoffs because they had Super Bowl expectations, but who knows? They're gone now, so I guess it doesn't matter. But
the coach. Well, I agree with the last guy, Aaron Rodgers. When he was hurt, they should have benched him and put in Tyrod. Remember, we had this discussion.
Do you remember Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers turned to Ulbrich in the Buffalo game when we're getting blown out. He's like, "Yeah, I think it's about time." And he asked for his own benching in the Bills game. He said, "Yeah, I'm probably pretty good. All right, let's put the towels on."
That should have been the coaching.
I agreed, which is the craziness of why all this.
Let me tell you something. Yeah. We had probably the worst offensive line coach in football.
Yes,
I mean he was fired from two teams that we know of, probably more.
Probably.
Yeah. The guy was an arrogant prick. Yeah. Nobody liked him. And the players knew they were going to stay. So the best way to stay and get rid of a coach you hate is to, half-ass it a little bit. Which that in itself means you got to get rid of that coach. If the coach loses the locker room, he's gone.
Yeah.
Salah, I think firing Salah mid-season was a mistake because he didn't lose the locker room. I mean, I agree with Neil before. There were a lot of things that weren't Salah's fault, a lot of things that weren't Rodgers' fault. I mean, who knew Greg Zuerlein was going to have, a twisty year where he got the twisties and he couldn't fucking kick?
That's a good point.
It's like,
I don't know.
It's like Mackie Sasser, catcher for the Mets. Couldn't throw the ball to the pitcher. He'd nail you at second base if you was stealing, but he couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher. It's one of those oopsie things that you get. It's a mental thing.
By the way, I'll welcome on some more callers here on the show. We'll just do a group party
let's have a little discussion. Let's have a party.
Right. Penn State Joe is on the show. What's up, Penn State Joe?
Hey, Joey.
Hey guys. Well, what a shit show.
Yeah. Wow.
I thought we were watching the Jake Asman show for a while. It was getting like very Jerry Springer.
I mean, yeah, and I mean, listen.
I was sending Paulie messages. I was writing out little messages.
I saw that, writing notes in the green room.
That was
very
so funny. I thought it was funny. Did you see them all?
I didn't see them all because the middle.
I know
of the
you
show,
saw a few of them and you were laughing at them.
Yeah, so there you go.
Listen,
go ahead,
guys,
Penn State Joe.
I kid you not. I'm walking around Costco right now, and I had to keep this on because it was entertaining. And I wanted
yeah,
to
it's
speak.
great.
But somebody asked me right by the produce area, "What are you listening to?" And I'm like, "This Jets podcast."
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "Fucking Jets stuff," and he walked away. But anyway, so I mean, our fan base. Why are we still talking about Aaron Rodgers? We announced we're releasing him on February 13th.
Yep.
It's a month later. We're in free agency. We have the draft coming up. We should be looking forward and put Aaron in the rearview mirror. Whether you wanted him or not, I was really 50-50. It's crazy.
I was 50-50 also.
Yeah,
I was dead right in the middle. If we keep him, see what he does with this coaching staff. If we get rid of him, at least the coaching staff won't be submarined by him.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand why you would keep him. I understand why you wouldn't. And in the end of the day, I don't think any one player was going to change the outcome last year. You know, everyone's saying Aaron played great. No, Aaron didn't play great. He had some decent statistics, but he had many games.
Last 7 games he played great. Last 7 games. But he was hurt the beginning
I
of the
wouldn't
season.
even say the last 7
games.
Ready. Because like that last 7 games would mean that would include like the Cardinals game where they laid down and died coming off. So no, I
that was defense too, though. That was a lot
that
of
was
defense
Rodgers.
too.
How many touchdowns did they score that game? I think that was 0.
Well, the other part is I heard maybe it was you that just said that we had a top 5 roster, but the defensive line we lost players. We didn't have a top 5 roster. We thought we had a top 5.
No, not
roster.
last year. I'm talking the year before.
The year before, our offensive
No,
line.
we had when Zach played. When Zach played.
I think
the
we had
year
a top
when Zach
5
played,
defense, but the year Zach
that's-
played, our offensive line was a shambles.
It
Right?
wasn't a shamble. Remember who we had coaching them. Look, I'm just going to make this point. Okay.
All right.
We had a team that wasn't very good. Okay. But had all basically the same players. Rex Ryan comes in and says, I think we can win a Super Bowl with who we have here right now. And he damn near almost did. And he had Mark Sanchez, a rookie quarterback, and a sophomore quarterback. And he went to 2 AFC championship games with a guy who was, and then when they had, slap face. All right, I'm calm down. And what happened was Mike Tannenbaum made a lot of moves for player personnel, which kind of bankrupted the team as far as the money. So he got canned. They brought in this other guy, the freaking guy, Idzik. Idzik was just a bean counter. He decimated the team. And basically the reason Rex had so much trouble that last year or two was he didn't have his players anymore. They were all gone. I mean, Leonard was gone. I mean, some of his best guys were gone. He had nothing left to play with, and he still had decent-ish.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, but to be fair,
go
I
ahead.
mean, Rex won with Mangini and Tannenbaum's players, right?
That's
Once
what everyone
those guys
says, yeah.
started going away and Tannenbaum started getting sexy, bringing in like Santonio Holmes and all these other guys.
Exactly.
Marty and all those
And
guys,
that's where we went to shit. And let's be real, that's exactly what we did last year. We chased,
Not work.
Devontae Adams. For what reason? We traded a 3rd-round pick, and I know it's not as high of a 3rd-round pick. It's still an asset. For what, 7 games, 9 games?
All right,
something
well,
like that?
Woody knew the
let's do
team
this.
sucked, and he needed to make a splash to get fannies in the seats. And he figured if he had
Why?
Devontae back
He
with
already had
Rodgers,
the
it
tickets
would put
paid for.
fannies in the seats.
Maybe.
And
All right,
sell
let's
hot dogs and sell beer and sell jerseys and hats and all this shit. He was
bring
doing
more
it for the
people on the
money.
show here. Fleur Lily and
ahead.
Big D jumps on. What's up, buddy? Hey, welcome to the
How you
show.
doing? How you guys doing?
Oh my god.
Let me
What a
ask.
show.
Let me ask you guys a question. See,
Yeah.
let me know if you
Okay.
agree with this statement I'm about to make.
Okay.
Do you believe that great teams or even mediocre teams can become great, and great teams can become championship teams with a great defense more so than a great offense? Do you agree with that statement?
I think
Not
there needs to be a
anymore.
balance.
I will say
What I'm saying is you have an okay offense, but you have a phenomenal defense. Do you agree with that statement?
It's like a top 15 offense and then a top 5 defense.
Exactly, something like that.
Yeah, you
I'm not
can
saying
make
got
a deep
shit
run.
offense. I'm
I
not
believe
saying
you
got
can
Zach
make a
Wilson
deep
at
run.
quarterback. I'm
Yeah,
saying,
right.
like,
No.
you got-
Average. Okay.
No.
Yes,
You got an
I
average
would
I
say
believe
yes.
you can make a deep run in the playoffs
I do.
with,
Right.
with
Okay.
top 15 and top 5.
So based on that, I think what happened. I don't want to. I've been a Jet fan. I'm 60 freaking years old. I've been here
I'm
forever.
64.
So, and so my point is this. I mean, I think the team last year fell apart because, like you guys said, I forgot who said it just a couple minutes ago. The defense fell apart, and the defensive
Coaching.
line. He went and got Devontae Adams. He went and got this great offense. But the defense just fell apart, and we didn't have that defensive line. So this goes to my next question. People have been talking about, and I want to look forward. I'm tired of looking back.
Yeah.
I'm getting tired of this crap. I don't give a shit anymore. I've been
Move
seeing
forward.
crap for 15
Amen.
years. I want to move forward.
Agreed.
Is there a way in this draft? I know we need a tight end, but I want Mason Graham or
baby.
Carter.
Yeah.
I want to solidify that defense because
Here's the thing: do we go 4-3 or 3-4?
It sounds
do we
like
go
both.
4-3 or 3-4?
It sounds like
I don't know who's gonna
That's what
play.
Mason
I
Graham
don't
is for me. If we're going to go 3-4, you don't need Mason Graham. You need a fat Haloti not a guy. If we're going to stay with the 4-3, then you go with Mason Graham.
Well,
and you don't take the tight end.
I say we do it for Lily and Big D says. You just draft Mason Graham and then you put him in positions to succeed. And I trust AG and Steve Wilkes to do that.
Yeah, I would do that.
But is he big enough to be that middle stud?
No. He won't be a straight up nose tackle. There's no question. But he is a sub 300-pound guy, so you have to judge with that. His Michigan profile had him listed at 320 pounds. He showed up at the combine sub 300. People went, what the hell? So you have to get past that part. But the tape doesn't lie. The tape shows what he truly is, throwing combine underwear Olympics aside. I want Mason Graham. I agree with you, Floor Lily.
Yeah, and if you have a defense that can put pressure on the quarterback, stop the run, turn the ball over, get turnovers, you put the offense in a better position to score, in an easier position, which makes it easier for him. I have no idea what we're going to get out of Justin Fields. I hope he's great. I really do.
We'll
but I don't know.
I think he'll be okay. I think Fields will be okay.
It'll be TBD. Yeah. I'll throw another caller on here. We have Yer here on the show. What's up, Yer?
Yo, BG, you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, brother.
we hear you.
Show. Yeah.
Yeah. So easy. I'm a disagree with you at one point. You saying
Go ahead.
Joe Douglas built us a top 5 team. That's incredibly false. We are in the predicament we're in right now because of Joe Douglas, solely because of Joe Douglas. We could go back and forth with the Rodgers debate. I mean, Rodgers just wasn't good. I just don't I don't need to go back and forth. He wasn't good. He's not the QB of the future. I just don't justify him being here with the new regime, so he can go.
Well, let me defend Joe Douglas here for a minute. First off, except for last year when he let number 91, when they let him go.
John Franklin Myers.
John Franklin Myers.
JFM. They let JFM go for nothing. I mean, that was ridiculous. And then they traded Huff. Huff was working with us. He was working with. I don't know what happened to Huff. I don't know why he fell apart when he went to the Eagles. But with us, it was working.
But how is that a defensive Joe Douglas?
Also, remember, we lost JJ. Don't forget that. That was a huge
right.
loss.
JJ got hurt.
Course.
So,
but also, Joe
that
Douglas's record is 32-68, boys. He
never
had
had
100 games. He had 6 years. He was going to school to be a doctor, for God's sakes. Is that enough of a sample size for the love of everything that's holy? Like, I don't give a shit what the little things he
But
did.
the thing was,
the playoffs. And
what would our record be with Bill Parcells with this exact team?
Much better.
Thank you. It was coaching,
he
and they never.
Salah. But
exactly.
I understand that. But you
100%
fire
right,
him
Will.
and you get somebody else. When someone came available, you should have fired Salah and got someone else.
But why does Joe Douglas get to pick that? Joe Douglas got saddled with Gase. He picked
because
Salah.
his job is to make sure the team wins. And when he saw Salah
And they didn't.
and guys
So he
like
failed.
Keith Carter weren't cutting it, and this guy wasn't making it, and the other guy, he should have fired him and
But he
got
didn't.
Sean Payton.
So easy. I
Yeah,
have
but
a
he
question.
brought these people in.
He should have fired them and brought in Sean Payton.
But he
accountable for
didn't,
that.
though.
So
He
easy.
didn't.
So easy. I have
That's
a
why he's
question then.
fired.
So easy. I have a question. Then. So what about when he sat on his hands and then he didn't cut the kicker? He didn't hire a kicker.
That too.
Like,
Or the
I mean,
quarterback thing in 2023. The moment Rodgers goes down, that's a big one, okay?
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
the
yeah.
moment he went
You're
down,
talking
that doesn't make
the
any
Zach
sense.
year, yeah.
I'm talking 2023. They pick Aaron
Yeah,
Rodgers. They
Zach-
said
Zach
Zach
year.
Wilson. Yeah, they said Zach Wilson's the guy. Aaron Rodgers goes down. But before that, let me just pause time real quick. Before he went down, earlier in the offseason, Robert Saleh said, "Hey, Zach Wilson, go read a book. You're gonna be on. Oh, this is gonna be the greatest experience of your life. You're just gonna watch the entire season." What changed? Nothing changed except Aaron Rodgers' Achilles exploding into a million pieces. So if your message, the entire team, is everybody, don't worry, Zach Wilson's going to watch. Aaron Rodgers' Achilles explodes. Okay, Zach Wilson's ready to go. Huh? If you said that he had to sit and watch, then you should have immediately added an upgrade and said, all right, Zach Wilson, you're developing QB3. You're not touching the field. The veteran is. Joe Douglas refused to do that and pissed all over the 2023 season. Go ahead.
BG, it's worse than that because
Exactly.
BG, it's worse than that because if it's true that Joe Flacco called and other veterans called and said, "Hey, I want to come help. Quarter. I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea. Maybe you do.
Oh, it's probably
But if
true.
it's-
Yeah, there was
then-
two that
and if
worked.
he turned
Carson
them
Wentz and
down-
Matt Ryan. Apparently
yeah,
they
Matt
did.
Ryan.
Yes.
Anybody
Yeah.
would have been better. Okay, than Zach
Brutal.
Wilson at that point. If he turned them down, that's on him, and he's a moron. I mean,
All right,
that's
here's here's another caller. Indy
Exactly.
Jets is here on the show now. What's up, Indy? Good Lord.
Here's
You know, this is a combination of the Jake Asman Bobby Midnight show. We've got enough
Yeah.
people on screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're
And,
not talking about a fucking cheese souffle like on Bobby's show. We're talking football.
Exactly. So,
Or
Mike
having
Frank,
the Beast Breaker
I-
episode or something.
I've been
Bobby will
trying to
talk
get on
about
here
a
since
sock
Neil was
drawer
on
if
here.
you let him.
Yeah,
Well, you
to be
did.
honest, Indy, just to make that clear for everyone that was waiting, there's a lot of people that are waiting on here to get on
Yeah.
with Neil and
Put
Scotty
them
and everyone
all on.
battling
Put
it
them
out.
all on.
Well,
Bring 'em
Yeah,
on.
you know,
Bring 'em on.
but
here's
I-
more Johnny Boy on the show. All right.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey,
God,
What the
It's
hell?
fucking Saturday. Let's have a fucking,
Mike Green
party.
getting duped
Woo-hoo.
ball here.
Can
We
I
have the
can I
split
say
screen.
something real quick?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Right. This was such a Lazardi type of show
There's no-
today.
Yeah,
All right.
very Lazardi. Yeah.
But I have to say this real quick. I don't understand why we still continue to keep talking about JD. We continue to keep talking
Move
about
on.
Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers.
Yeah, move on.
Yes.
I agree.
It's done. The
100%.
guy's gone. I had to move to like 3 different gas stations today because people thought I was fighting within myself when Scott and Neil were arguing over my speakers inside of my vehicle and whatnot.
That was fucking great. I loved it.
Okay. Yeah. Joe Douglas, goodbye. Bury that
Jake
body.
Asman
Aaron
meets
Rodgers,
Jerry
bye. Goodbye
Springer.
that body. For God's
And
sake.
that's all I really wanted to say. I just want to say, like, it's done. Like, we got to continue to keep moving forward. The regime knows what they do. They have a plan, okay? And they're ready to go ahead and do it. He wasn't going to be part of it. It's over. That guy is gone. He's at the beach right now contemplating if he's going to play.
Wrapped in a towel. It was very White Lotus. He's just looking out there. Yeah, what's going on
You
there?
know,
Yeah.
he got his own boys, which is the Pat McAfee cats, making fun of him. It's a theater with the guy, and we don't need it
What a
anymore.
charade.
And Aaron Glenn and Dumb don't want to deal with it, and they're really ready to go ahead and move forward. And we got the regime in it. So I say this was a Lazardi call. BG, I
No doubt.
appreciate you. Pleasure, Easy, Indy, to your and I can't even see his other name over there because I'm
For
driving.
Lily and Penn State Joe, we got a lot of people on here. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys, man. BG, shout you out for keeping trying to keep the reins on, bro. So
Impossible.
Go Jets.
But yes.
Let's move forward.
There we go. A thankless job. That it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Well,
he's 100% correct. So
Yeah.
I'm 100% with him, man. Like we just got to get this regime some time. I mean,
Yes.
I'm a little younger than the rest of you guys here, so you know you guys experience a little way more.
BG,
misery
I
than
think
me.
you did a great job with Neil pointing out that Rodgers didn't.
oh, we're
Thanks.
losing Indy.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, I think you're back, Indy. Go ahead. Sorry.
We're back.
Yeah.
BG, you did a great job with Neil pointing out that he wasn't as great as what Neil thinks he was.
He wasn't. And again, we see. I get it. We're
He
all
was
on the,
missing
we're on the call
wide
here.
open receivers
That too.
all
We're
year
all on the
in the
call
beginning
here.
of the year. Wide
we all
open.
saw this. We all saw
God.
this. The Aaron Rodgers stats look awesome. We have seen terrible Jets quarterback play. This is a therapy session. Hello, my name's Paul. I'm a Jets fan. Hey, Paul. We're all here. We're all championing our sins here. Okay. The final numbers look great for Rodgers. It's top 5 in basically every major passing category we've ever seen. And right. Neil said, "Oh, it was cool to be a favorite. It was cool for me to see touchdowns. That's more touchdowns than I've seen in God knows when." But ultimately, we won 5 games. And that's what it comes back to me.
Well,
I want
there's
to win.
a reason. There's a reason
Okay,
that we only won
feed it.
5 games.
Yes.
Think of how many clutch throws Lazard dropped. Think of how many clutch throws with Brees Hall wide open in the flats with real estate dropped the ball. And a lot of times it was dropped because
Well, there's some bad
there was
throws,
a
too.
bad
I was about to
throw.
say, yeah, there
It
was some
a
really bad throws.
Aaron
too,
Rodgers was not,
BG.
his footwork was not right the beginning of the season, and he just was twinkle-toeing it around the first 4 or 5 games.
Which is on
Coaching should
Rodgers.
have That's on coaching. They should have seen he wasn't ready and pulled his ass out of the game and put in a 100% healthy Tyrod Taylor.
I think
That
there
is
is two.
coaching.
It's two. You can blame coaching, but Aaron Rodgers to me is not this like perfect angel that is immune to
He should have
criticism.
told him. He should have told him.
should have told him. The
I'm
coaches
not
suck.
ready. He should have told him, look, I'm trying, but I don't think I'm ready. For
Well,
the good of the
guys,
team.
could you imagine
For
this
the
fan
good of
base
the team, you have
if
to
they did
know
that?
when you're ready.
I agree. Easy. I appreciate the call. Go ahead, Joe.
BG.
I was going to say, could you imagine this fan base if they actually
They get my
had
internet's going out
Rodgers,
again.
you know, somewhat healthy and they benched him and then we lost the game? Everyone would be yelling, why isn't Rodgers playing?
100%. 100%. That's right.
You can't
Yeah.
have it both ways.
You cannot. Indy, go ahead. You're trying to say something, or you're frozen? Maybe. Go. Yeah. Up. Indy's frozen. We've lost Indy. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
we're getting eliminated like a Survivor Island here. So, oh wait, around the horn isn't around anymore. I guess that's over. So I guess we're around the horning, losing people. But yeah, we could go around with final thoughts on this historic 2.5 hour show. Unbelievable. 1,000 people in the room right now. You crazy jet bastards out there in the universe. God damn it! Like the video, hit subscribe. But let's go around. Go ahead,
Yeah, I'll make my last point. So, I'm always giving the new regime some positive outlook. I'm not too happy with the free agent signing. Stevens is probably being my main one. If you watch a lot of Red Zone, you've seen a lot of Brandon Stevens last year.
Yeah.
So and just based off of that, I can just tell without watching the tape alone that he's not a good corner. The 12 mil a year too is a little steep.
Yeah, quite rich. Yeah.
I wasn't a big Brandon Echols as CB number 2 either, but I mean, if we could have made a 1 year 6, I believe he had 1 year 6 from Pittsburgh.
Oh,
If we
I never
could-
saw the financial, so it's 1 year 6. But either
No,
way,
I'm
no
not,
matter.
I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me. on
Okay,
that. Don't
but
quote me on
whatever
that.
it is, I saw it was a 1 year deal, which is going to be dirt cheap. He's Brandon Eccles, but shit,
Right.
you could have sold me. To your point, you could have sold me. So Brandon Stevens, fuck you. You get out of here.
Right.
Brandon Eccles, Quantez stickers, JBC. All right, here's a pipe. One of you's walking out of here. You could have
Right.
sold me on that easy peasy and let you reinvest those resources somewhere else. So 100%.
Yep. So and that's really my main thing. I'll let you guys talk. But BG, I appreciate you letting me on, man.
Yeah, thanks, Yer. I appreciate it, and I also appreciate him calling the rest of us old. Yeah, I'm far younger than you, old bastards. Oh, thanks, Yer. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's go back to you, Florida. It's great to have you on the show, man. Great to see you.
Thanks again, and that exchange, and I think you managed that great between Neil and
Good Lord.
I forgot whoever. I forgot the other guy's
Yeah,
name. But that was great.
Scotty. Yeah, that was intense.
I
Wow.
will say one thing on behalf of my daughter. This is on behalf of my daughter. She's very upset that Ashton Davis is now not a Jet because my daughter was at Cal as a freshman. She was a swimmer there. And so
Yeah.
she saw Ashton Davis, and I
Oh,
think I
that's
may
cool.
have IM'd this to you. She had like a
Yeah,
crush
you
on
did,
Ashton
yeah.
Davis. Okay, so
Yeah.
she was like, "Dad, why did you get rid of Ashton Davis?" I go, "Yeah, and of all places to go, he went to the freaking Dolphins."
I know we're
So,
going to see
yeah,
him
so-
again, and it's too bad for your daughter. We were this. I think I've said that. I might not have said this publicly, but anywho, I reached out to Ashton Davis. I remember being this massive fan coming out of the draft. I wanted the Jets to draft him. They drafted him. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is my guy. It's like when you randomly fall into something. And I reached out to Ashton Davis and his people, and Ashton Davis said, "Would love to come on the show." I'm like, "Oh my god, this could be the greatest thing since
Oh,
sliced
that
bread
would've
this
been
past
great.
offseason."
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then right before he was supposed to come on, Ashton gives me a message, says, my agent says I probably shouldn't. I don't want to say anything that gets me in trouble because I'm a free agent. And he said, we'll see. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, whenever you sign your deal, and I'm like, wink, back with the Jets, hit me up. Of course, he did re-sign with the Jets, and they were never able to get him on the show. So I would have been able to pour one out for your daughter for Layla.
Yeah, that
would
would have
amazing.
been good. It would, and actually, it's like I bought a Cal. I bought the Aaron jersey. I bought the Aaron Rodgers Cal jersey, and I bought the
cool.
Ashton Davis Cal jersey for her. And that's
Oh,
we went
that's
to the game together
awesome.
and shit.
I love
So it was
that.
kinda
That's so cool.
but, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Anyway, great show. Appreciate it. Watch all the time. I'll let you guys finish up. Take care.
All right. Beautiful for Lily and Big D, baby. A big supporter of the program. And then we end up with you, Penn State Joe. Unbelievable. What a
28th.
show. Yeah.
That was something else. I mean, you kept me on from my car, from driving my daughter to gymnastics to Costco's parking lot, waiting for them to open until I'm still walking around here now because I don't want to check out on the call.
Yeah, beautiful.
But,
Well, Penn State Joe, I appreciate the call. We have a caller, and he's back. I haven't seen this guy in a hot second. We can only know where this show's going to go. Let's bring him in. The legend, Number one seed, Bobby Midnight. You're back, baby. What's up, Bobby?
Yeah, I got a question for you.
Question, sure.
I got
It's
a
good to see you,
question for
Bobby.
you.
Yeah, what's on your mind? Yeah.
When do you ever do a call-in show like that? When do you ever do this?
Oh,
call-in
every
show?
day. The second half of all my shows are
You don't
call-in
have
shows.
tons of people on. No, you
Oh
don't have
no, I've never done that before. Well, let me not say never.
When did that come up? What? I do that. That's my thing. You don't do that. I do it.
Oh, am
You
I
only have-
stepping on your turf? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I did my show today, so I step on your turf.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't see it that way. I don't take any offense. Everyone can do their own thing.
Well,
no,
I know, but
Yeah.
how do you come up with the concept of the Zoom call today? You never
the Zoom
do that.
call. What do you mean? Oh no, that wasn't the concept of the show. Two callers got into a fight, and then everyone called in and watched. So yeah, it was organic. I didn't plan to do that. kind
Oh,
of show.
okay. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
No, that's all right.
Well, have a good day.
Well, it's good to see you, Bobby. How you been?
Good. Bye.
Oh. Oh my God. I don't know what I've done to Bobby. Bobby is pissed. Okay. Well, sorry, Bob. Whoops. I guess me and Bobby still have a grudge. I'm still unclear on this grudge. It's a one-sided grudge. I have no hate towards Bobby for everyone who asks. I thought we were cool. Obviously not. But yeah. I'm sorry I didn't see the patent on multiple calls at the same time. I'm sorry to step on turf. But I know people have asked for that, by the way. Shout out to Philium. He's a big guy that's asked for those kind of shows where we have a lot of people on at the same time. We'll end on this. Number one of the reasons I normally don't do that, and to be honest, Bobby, it's all yours. I'm never going to do that kind of show. I think it's hard. I thought we did a really good job, pat on the back to ourselves, of being as organized as possible. Too many people talking over each other all the time. I don't think it's very entertaining. So if someone's listening to the show, they're hearing blah, 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 of 20 people. I don't like that very much. I like it more organized. So that's why normally one-on-one combat or 2-on-1, if we're doing that kind of show. Today was very unique, coming off the organicness, and I love that, is that we can be organic. When the show blows up to have a debate and people want to all get involved, we try to do the best that we can to have that on there. So wow, unfortunate. I'm sorry. I'll use this moment, Bob. Bob from Vermont. I don't know what I've done to you, Bobby, but I appreciate you calling the show. This is the first time I've seen you in God knows how long on the program, so thank you. I just want to make this clear. We have no beef that I'm aware of. I have no beef with you, Bob. Keep doing your show. Awesome. Pour one out for you. Amazing. I wish you well moving forward. Again, I have no beef with you, but if you have beef with me, I'm sorry. That's unfortunate. But hopefully we can work through whatever this is in the future. But good luck to your show. Thank you, everyone, for calling in. Again, we have over 1,000 people in the room. What a show. 2.5 hours. I did not have 2.5 hours on my bingo card, but God bless. Sometimes you just roll with the punches. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Stay tuned as Jets continue to make new additions. We'll be uploading just straight up short form videos, so like 3, 4, 5 minutes of anything I could scoop up. Once I hear the Jets sign a player, I try to reach out to if I have any sources with the team to try to see if I could give you guys a nugget or two or something, if there's something interesting, if I have something or know someone who covers the team or is with the team around the player or anything. I try to give you guys that insight. So any more Jets free agent additions, just make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. You won't miss a video, and we'll have all those. We're live every single day on this channel, and apparently multiple callers at the same time is a patented thing, as Bob in Vermont had the first ever YouTube show with multiple callers at the same time. So I should have read that patent. My apologies, Bobby, on stealing your concept that you've had for hundreds of years. But yes, thank you, everyone, for calling into the show. Appreciate it. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. What's it, Saturday? All right, we'll see you tomorrow morning for a Sunday episode. God bless everybody. Take care. What a show. What a bleeping show. That was crazy. All right, thanks, everybody. We'll see you.